suit against the city.
I'm Sean Malone, the attorney representing the Festus mayor, and 3 council members facing a recall is asking the city attorney to find the recall petition invalid. I've got that story coming up.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer. Medicare recipients will soon be able to get those popular weight loss drugs at a greatly reduced price. All the details are coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. More sun than clouds today, the high 83.
And with Debbie Monterrey, I'm Tom Ackerman. The Cardinals dropped one yesterday, and they did not like how that went down. They blamed themselves. Ollie Marmol said we didn't deserve to win the game. That's on the way at 6:15.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Still up in the air, some of the biggest races from Tuesday's primaries and California's open primaries. If no candidate wins a majority, then the top 2 go to a runoff, no matter their parties. No predictions yet on the governor's race, where over 60 candidates made up the field. In the Los Angeles mayor's race, incumbent Karen Bass is expected to advance, and it looks like if the numbers hold, her opponent will be reality TV star Spencer Pratt. Alabama not voting on Tuesday, but in the middle of an election decision from the Supreme Court.
The justices have now cleared the way for Republicans to use a contested congressional map in that state, which a lower court described as intentional race discrimination. The map eliminates one of the 2 majority black districts currently held by Democrats.
That's ABC's Lana Moise. Kuwait this morning says it has partially reopened the country's main airport after an Iranian drone attack. 1 person was killed and parts of the airport are damaged. This is ABC News. The Trump administration is proposing more tariffs for dozens of trading partners of the U.S. The contention is that they allow for forced labor. Former Republican Congressman George Santos just can't stop showing up in the headlines. Now he's facing a federal investigation over whether he placed bets on prediction markets. ABC's Sophie Flay explains.
Back in February, Santos released this video.
I'm going to be there for the State of the Union in the gallery, guys.
At the time, Kalshi was taking bets on who would attend President Trump's State of the Union speech. Sources say Santos placed wagers tied to his own attendance, but during the address, he posted, "Watching State of the Union from an airport TV was not part of the plan." By skipping the speech, sources say he pocketed tens of thousands of dollars.
President Trump commuted Santos a 7-year prison sentence for fraud. The former congressman was also expelled from Congress for lying about his education, his background, and his family. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02, and right now we've got sunshine, 55 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Will the Festus city attorney review the recall petition to determine if it is legally valid after being asked to by the lawyer representing the mayor and council members facing the recall? He tells KMOX he will.
To determine whether the reasons stated are the reasons listed for recall in the state statute 77650, and I'll advise the council on that.
Malone says he will make a legal determination ahead of the city council meeting next week, but will leave it up to the council members he advises whether they share it publicly due to attorney-client privileges. The organizers behind the recall petition said in a statement they have also obtained enough signatures to recall Ward 1 Councilman David Boyer after coming up 3 dozen shy last week.
With less than a month left until the city of St. Louis must implement their new budget, the state-appointed Board of Police Commissioners announced new raises.
$2.3 million worth of raises for civilian staff and command staff. Board President Chris Saraceno says these raises weren't done in haste, adding this was a part of their expenses, which they certified in February.
Conversations regarding around, our professional staff, as well as our commanders, have been going on since January. The continuous timing of investing is now.
Asked why the board commissioners did not show up to testify before the Board of Aldermen despite a Asked why the board commissioners did not show up to testify before the Board of Aldermen despite a subpoena, Saraceno said they wanted to see legal clarity be given by a judge over which budget would be used first. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Reaction is coming in following the 22nd Circuit Court's ruling against the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners.
To the police board wanting to use RAM settlement money and general revenue, Judge Joan Moriarty says the state Supreme Court defined general revenue as all current income of the city, however derived, which is subject to appropriation for general public uses. The St. Louis Police Officers Association says, quote, the end result must be to refund the police and return the department to funding and staffing levels needed to provide the level of public safety this region expects and demands. Alderman Rasheen Aldridge is condemning the Board of Police Commissioners' decision on spending $2.3 million on salary increases for command staff. Police Board President Chris Saraceno says in a statement, the board plans to appeal the ruling to Missouri Supreme Court. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Police in Shrewsbury are searching for a driver they say robbed a post office and then ran down a police officer. This happened after there was an armed robbery at the post office in the 7200 block of Watson Road around 5:15 on Tuesday. Make that Monday. Minutes later, an officer who didn't yet know about the robbery tried to pull that car over for a traffic violation. The driver reversed into the officer, pushing him down to the pavement and then sped off. A second officer gave chase but lost the car when it crossed into Illinois. The officer's injuries are considered minor, but anyone with information is asked to call Shrewsbury Police.
A propane tank explodes in Wentzville, damaging multiple homes. It happened yesterday evening on Brookfield Boulevard, according to our partners at Fox 2. The home that exploded has been ruled a total loss. 3 other homes were heavily damaged as well. 1 firefighter sustained minor injuries, and 3 pets, 1 cat and 2 dogs, were rescued from the blaze.
Missouri lawmakers passed a bill this year designed to boost the state's economy. The measure would allow local governments to create what's being called innovation zones, in which a percentage of tax revenues would fund public safety improvements.
The sponsor, Republican House member Brad Christ of St. Louis County, tells Missouri Net the zones would also help fund rural development.
Redirects 10% of the net new state sales tax revenue generated, again, in those innovation zones. So we're talking net new that would be generated for the Department of Economic Development to support rural education, healthcare, and housing.
City boosters say it would be a huge help in renovating some massive vacant buildings downtown. Governor Mike Kehoe has until July 14th to make a decision on the bill.
An unlikely pair. Senators Josh Hawley and Elizabeth Warren have partnered for the Patients Before Monopolies Act. Hawley says the bill counters the monopolized medical field in step with their second bipartisan bill, the Break Up Big Medicine Act.
What's happening is more and more of these insurance companies are buying up everything. They're buying up the pharmacies. They're buying up the doctor's offices. They're buying up the hospitals, which is why increasingly, even if you have insurance, not only can you not afford it, you can't even afford to go to the doctor with your insurance.
Hawley says if you try to go to the doctor, you can't get an appointment because there are fewer doctors and fewer pharmacies. He says in Missouri, there are 2 counties, Knox and Schuyler, that have no pharmacy at all. And there are 16 other counties considered pharmacy deserts.
The vacant Grand Center building on Page Boulevard could be demolished. The city of St. Louis is seeking bids to demo the building, once owned by Northside Regeneration, starting in mid-July. According to the Business Journal, the city hopes removing the company's deteriorating properties in North St. Louis will give way to new development in the area. The demolition will be paid for through ARPA.
It is now 6:07, and when we return, we'll get another look at the beautiful forecast for today and the roadways as well.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen.
Izzy, what's going on, man?
You know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all of that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10. Roger Brand, give us an update on Wentzville, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still have a jam there. Westbound 70, it's starting right at Wentzville Parkway, and it goes most of the way out to David Hokel Parkway. Like I said, what they've been doing is get crews in front of the traffic and pick up the barrels as they go. Now, I see both lanes are open as you approach David Hokel Parkway, so it looks like they are getting the work picked up. But it is a solid jam, westbound 70 from Wentzville Parkway most of the way to David Hokel Parkway. So still bumper to bumper. We started off with it just being a slowdown, so it's definitely worse than it was, but hoping it's going to get better. I can't see any trouble out there like yesterday when I saw that tractor trailer that went off the roadway in this same area. But today, like I said, both lanes are getting through at the front end of that construction zone. The rest of the construction zones look great. Northbound 55, Richardson up through 141 to Merrimack, you're okay. 270 at Ladue, you look good. 64 westbound through 159 to Fairview Heights, no big deal. And again, this is the hour of the schedule. I have it down to just 2 lanes on westbound 5570 between 255 and 203. I'm not seeing any delays through there right now. And in fact, yesterday, it looked all morning westbound. It was eastbound that was backing up between 203 and 111. So we'll see how it plays out for you this morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis, Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
Sunshine mixing with clouds today and pleasant with low humidity, high 83. Tonight will be clear, low 64. More sun than clouds tomorrow, warm and a little more humid in the afternoon, high 86. On Friday, very warm and rather humid with clouds and sun. Also a thunderstorm likely in the afternoon, the high Friday, 87. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Right now at 6:12, we've got sunshine and 55 degrees.
Sports in 3 minutes at 6:12. Do you use a smartwatch or ring to count your steps and other health info? About 1/4 of U.S. customers are now using health-related smart wearables. Ian Scherer is an AI and tech analyst with time-worthy research.
This is directionally a good idea. It can be helpful as long as we take it for what it is, which is helpful data, not, medical quality research.
Nearly half of users use the Smart Aura Ring and are using the ring to manage chronic conditions. Cher tells us wearables are still making mistakes and don't replace real medical advice.
Washington University hosting a major sports announcement from the St. Louis Sports Commission tomorrow at 2. We're taking a look at what events the region has been up for.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Officials are gathering at the historic 1904 Olympic finish line, raising the possibility that St. Louis may have landed the 2028 Olympic marathon trials. St. Louis is competing against Phoenix for that bid, and track and field publications have indicated that a decision was expected to come by this May. It has not been announced yet, so that is a real possibility. But a return of the Olympics gymnastics trials for next round is off the table, as that event earlier this spring was officially locked in for Louisville. St. Louis has hosted a lot of high-profile events, from the 2021 gymnastics trials to the 2026 Olympics figure skating trials, and coming up in August, the 2026 BMW Golf Championship.
FIFA World Cup soccer matches start later this month in Kansas City, and as KMOX's Megan Lynch tells us, the state is already bidding to host Women's World Cup soccer in 5 years.
Tourism officials believe the investment by the KC Current to develop the first women's professional soccer stadium makes a big play. Jim Rowland is Visit Missouri's national account manager for sports tourism.
That didn't go unnoticed by all of the folks at FIFA, all of the folks of the National Women's Soccer Club, the Soccer League. So that was a huge boom for us. That was a statement about where we think soccer is in the state of Missouri.
The Netherlands is using the Currents training facility as home base for this year's Men's World Cup. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Listen Thursday morning for more about this year's FIFA World Cup in Missouri.
A crowd of St. Louis Bosnians turn out at Lambert Airport to cheer on their national team as they get off the plane. A welcome years in the making for a community that put roots down here after fleeing the war in 1990s. Soccer podcaster Zemai Media captured the moment. The Dragons, as the Bosnian national team is known, will train in St. Louis this week and meet Panama in a friendly at Energizer Park on Saturday, a send-off before the World Cup opens June 11th. Captain Edin Zeko and his teammates start the tournament on June 12th against Canada.
We had the founder, Elvir Kafedzik, the assistant coach at City 2 of the St. Louis Dragons on Sports on a Sunday Morning, and he was fantastic. The Bosnian native, if you want to hear that interview, played a little bit of it yesterday on this show. Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast page at KMOX.com. It's going to be a fun weekend in St. Louis, but the Cardinals have got to figure out ways to close games down. Yesterday, they looked like they were going to. That's the whole thing, is that they were back at it again. The comeback Cards in the 7th inning. J.J. Weatherholt with a single. Cardinals are down 4-2, but he leads off with a base hit. Ivan Herrera hit by a pitch. Here comes Alec Burleson.
Big opportunity for Burleson. He lines that down the left field line. It's fair. Weatherholt's rounding third. He's going to score. Herrera into third base. He slides. He's safe. And in the second is Alec Burleson. And the Cardinals are down by 1 with 2 runners in scoring position in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Next batter, Jordan Walker.
As the next pitch is hit into left field. Base hit. Jordan Walker. 1 run scores. Burleson being held at third. And the Cardinals have a 2-run inning, and they have just tied this ball game. Jordan Walker, RBI number 44.
Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. It sounds good right now, but the Cardinals at a 4-4 game at that point start to go south. Nelson Velasquez strikes out. Mason Wynn strikes out. Jose Fermin lines out, so that inning comes to a close. And then in the bottom of the 8th, with the Cardinals, again, in a 4-4 contest, they get a leadoff double from Jimmy Crooks. He's standing at second base. They pinch run Thomas Sajasi. You have got to get Crooks home or at least get him to third base. But they don't. They get nothing out of it. Victor Scott drops down a bunt and pops out. That can't happen. J.J. Weatherholt pops out to shortstop. Ivan Herrera grounds out. Threat over. And the Cardinals then give up 3 runs in the 9th inning. Riley O'Brien, the pitcher of record, and the Cardinals lose the game 7-4. Matt Pauley, this is not the same looking Cardinals team that we saw come back time and time again.
All season long, we've spoken about the Cardinals' ability to be resilient and bounce back. With their 7-4 loss to the Rangers securing the series for Texas, the Cardinals have only won 1 series since May 17th. Manager Oliver Marmol says these games do not so much present an opportunity for resiliency, but instead an opportunity for improvement.
You lost a game, you go dissect it, you figure out what you did well, what you didn't do well, and you go get better the next day. It's not a matter of being resilient. You're big leaguers. You better learn how to turn the page. You have 162 games. So for me, it's more of a matter of continuing to see opportunities for growth and make sure that we're not missing those. Continue to drill those down and figure out who can and who can't.
The Cardinals have now lost 10 of their last 14. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cardinals are in third place in the NL Central, 6.5 games behind first place Milwaukee. The Vegas Golden Knights win Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. They beat Carolina last night on the road 5-4. They score the winning goal at the 16:36 mark of the third period. In the NBA Finals, they'll tip off Game 1 tonight in San Antonio, the Knicks and the Spurs at 7:30. The Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:20. Skies are blue, a little breezy, nice sunshine. We'll take a look at the forecast in just a moment. First, the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I think we do have a problem, unfortunately, Debbie, on westbound 70 now. This traffic reports the service of Artistic Decks because this jam just isn't going away. I mean, they held up traffic. They were moving through to work with things, but I still see, well, there's, a few more vehicles coming through at the front end, but it's just out of my sight. So there may be a lane block with an incident there, westbound 70. It's still jammed right at Wentzville Parkway, and it goes most of the way to David Hokel Parkway. I can see the back end where it's jammed and the front end where it's moving better. So there's something in between there, obviously, but just be prepared. It is still a jam, unfortunately. A little volume now on northbound 55, approaching 141 up to the Merrimack. The right lane's a little busy at Butler Hill, not that bad. North 270 as you ramp on from 55 looks great, all the way up to 64 in Ladue. Southbound 61 coming down to 64 and 70 out west look great. And on the Illinois side, 64 is still cruising through Fairview Heights and 5570 between 255 and 203. I'm not seeing delays in either direction so far. Next update is 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Artistic Decks. For 26 years, we've been making dreams affordable in the St. Louis area. With an A+ BBB rating, we're the team you can trust. Let us build your dream deck. Artistic Decks. For a free consultation, call us at 314-280-0821.
Weather forecast is fantastic. Sunny to partly cloudy, pleasant, low humidity, high of 83 degrees. Tonight, mainly clear, low 64. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, warm and a bit more humid in the afternoon, a high of 86 degrees. Friday, very warm and humid with the thunderstorm around in the afternoon and a high of 87. Currently, it's sunny, 55 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:22 as the news continues. A lot of reasons to send money between friends, neighbors, and family.
There are also a lot of scams out there with the peer-to-peer apps. The Better Business Bureau points out these apps are less likely to provide reimbursement for fraud, making the risk higher for consumers. The BBB says treat it like cash or link it to a credit card. That could give you some protection. Use extra security on your account and your devices. Avoid storing large balances. And if something doesn't feel right, rethink the purchase. If a seller only accepts peer-to-peer apps, it could be a red flag. Beth Coughlin, KMOX News.
You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. If your family is like mine, you're probably trying to find ways right now to save money on your grocery bills. Would you be willing to buy surprise bags of leftover food from a grocery store, deli, or bakery? Let's find out more about this morning from ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. Yeah, and millions of people are trying to do that. They're trying to save a little bit of money as inflation eats into budgets, sky-high food prices. We heard yesterday, Megan, about tomato prices that have gone through the roof. Well, there are a couple of apps that can help you do that. One's called Flash Food. The other one is Too Good To Go. And they both operate in the St. Louis area. And it's pretty simple the way it works. You download the app and then you go virtual shopping at any of the stores that are participating. You ask to purchase a surprise bag. You pay whatever the price is. And generally it's a half or about a third of the cost of the original bag. I've got a good example here for you in St. Louis. Save a Lot, the Save a Lot store on South Jefferson. You can buy a grocery bag today for $6.99. The site says that it's $21 originally, and it's full of groceries. And they're very blunt and open, transparent about this. The surprise bag could contain grocery items that are at their best buy or sell by dates, or maybe even a little past that. So at least, Save a Lot and the others urge people to take a whiff, take a smell before you walk home with this stuff. Just make sure that it is still edible. In many cases, the due date or the buy date, purchase by date, is just a recommendation for manufacturers, Megan.
How much of this could we get, for example, bakery or leftover deli items? How much do you see that from these apps?
Well, a lot, and bakeries are a big part of this, probably because their inventory has such a short shelf life. And this is very much like, I don't know if you still have them there, but the old bread store. So the big bakery in town at the end of the day would ship whatever's left over to the old bakery outlet, and you could buy it that way. This is sort of like that. And there are some benefits, not just to consumers who are saving a lot of money, but to the retailers and restaurants and grocery stores and that are, and even convenience stores that are participating in this. So let's say, you own a restaurant there in St. Louis, one of the restaurants taking part in this whole thing, and you have inventory at the end of the day. You don't want to have to throw it out. There is a way that you can sell it. You're not selling it at a loss necessarily, but you're selling it at a much smaller rate than you would have otherwise. It's better than zero. What's more, Megan, you might get customers into the store who wouldn't have come otherwise. So they look around, they kind of see what you're about while they're picking up their surprise bag, and they may come back. So, there are sort of these ancillary benefits.
Do you have any choice as far as maybe categories of what you get? Can you specify that you want produce or canned goods or things like that?
Yes. Yeah. You really can't get much more specific than that. But yes, categories, meat or cheese or frozen goods. I got a funny story. A friend of mine uses one of these apps, and through Central Market, he was able to purchase his first surprise bag. He didn't specify anything really. He just got the bag home, and it's full of pasta and bread. He's on keto. He can't eat those things. He doesn't want to eat those things.
Oops.
So he ordered again and got more specific, asked for, meat, dairy products, that sort of thing that keto encourages. And he got a bag of gourmet cheeses at a deep discount from what they would have been otherwise. So yeah, you can choose from categories, and it's probably important to do that.
Jim, what are these apps again?
The two apps, the main apps that are operating right now, there's one called Flash Food, all one word, and then you've got Too Good To Go, all one word as well.
Jim, thanks so much for bringing this to our attention. I'm going to try it out.
Give it a try. Thanks, Megan.
All right, thank you. That is ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan joining us this morning here on KMOX.
It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
There are a lot of us who can't stand to hear horrible stories about neglected animals, and for good reason, because they rely on us. They're expecting us to take care of them. And when they're not being taken care of, it is good to know that the Humane Society of Missouri is around to help, because their Animal Cruelty Task Force does such an amazing job, not just in the St. Louis area, but all over the state of Missouri. My dog Lola came from a puppy mill raid in Douglas County, and I can't imagine my life without her. You might remember the Christian County rescue. I think it was last year. It was their largest hoarding intervention ever. The Animal Cruelty Task Force rescued more than 220 neglected dogs who were living in one little home. You can imagine the condition that they were in. Anyway, it takes a lot of money to fund these things, and that's where you come in, because there are so many great ways to support the Humane Society of Missouri. You could just give them a monetary donation now, or you could participate in lots of fun activities. We just had Bark in the Park a couple of weeks ago. That was awesome. And the next big event is coming up on the 18th of this month. It's Purses for Pooches. It's cocktails, hors d'oeuvres, and your chance to win gorgeous designer bags from Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Jimmy Choo, and so much more. All those proceeds go directly to the Humane Society of Missouri's Animal Cruelty Task Force. So help rescue animals from bad situations and find animals forever homes. The Humane Society of Missouri at hsmo.org.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At 6:30, we have a sunny sky, 57 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, I'm still seeing traffic backing up in Wentzville, Debbie. Westbound Highway 70 as you approach Wentzville Parkway. It is bumper to bumper there, most of the way out to David Hokel Parkway. And again, that's what we were seeing earlier was a slowdown, then it turned into a jam. I could see both lanes open at the front end of it, so I think there's an incident there blocking that's keeping that jam alive, unfortunately. So really no change there. Westbound, good news is, just like yesterday, nobody eastbound's bothering to slow for a look, so you're fine. Come in the opposite direction. If you're on northbound 55, midway up from Richardson through 141 is kind of busy, headed up toward the Merrimack. Once you get past that point, you're good into the city. North 270, as you ramp on from 55, is a great run. It's just a little slow now as you approach 64 into the work zone there, just north of 64. So just a little bit of a delay there, and we still look great on the Illinois side. 64 westbound through 159 and 5570 between 255 and 203, not seeing delays in either directions there so far. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Great weather out there, Roger, and it's going to stay that way all day. Low humidity, partly cloudy, sunny, pleasant, high 83, clear, low 64 tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, warm and a bit more humid in the afternoon with a high of 86. It's 56 in Florissant, 55 in St. Peter's, sunny and 56 downtown at the Arch.
And at 6:32, we have to tell you about a St. Joseph, Missouri man charged with child pornography. 48-year-old Billy Meyerdirk was arrested last week after the Missouri State Highway Patrol raided his home and found child pornography on his electronic devices. He's being held at the Buchanan County Jail on $10,000 bond.
The city is continuing to demolish tornado-damaged homes in North City.
I'm outside one of the buildings that the St. Louis City is going to begin demolishing this week. 4445 Page Boulevard, located right next to Rankin Technical College. And looking at this building, it is in rough shape. The side of it is completely collapsed and falling outwards, spilling into a tall, unmowed part of grass that probably, for the most part, has not been touched in about a year since the tornado has come. Meanwhile, looking at the front of the building, windows are blown inward. There's significant damage to the inside of this building as well, along with a pile of personal items on the side of it. Now, this building located right next to Rankin Technical College is one of 15 that is set to be demolished this week, but there's a lot of work still to be done. The city, out of its 1,200 total applications for demolition, 591, they're still going over the scope of the work, with another 340 in the city's contractor pipeline, over 50 in the state's contractor pipeline. And so far, scope of work is complete on demolishing 104 homes thus far. In North City, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
An Illinois official is warning travelers about summer scams. Attorney General Kwame Raoul advises residents to thoroughly research things like travel agents, booking sites, and rental listings before they purchase any services instead of simply relying on web results.
He advises travelers to be wary of deals that seem to be too good to be true, packages that are vague, and companies who say you need to make a decision fast. These are usually signs of a scam. Raul also reminds residents that the U.S. Department of Transportation requires airlines to refund travelers for their purchases when flights are canceled or significantly delayed.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com at 634.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan in MLS 226715.
This is Total Information AM. It's 636, and your Money Minute is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. GameStop is winning big on collectibles. Shares of GameStop jumping this morning after the video game retailer reported record quarterly profit driven by pop culture items. GameStop has been looking to sell more items such as Pokemon cards and action figures as consumers increasingly buy video games outside of physical stores. GameStop recently attempted to purchase eBay for $56 billion, but eBay rejected the unsolicited offer. Checking on the markets, stocks touched another all-time high yesterday. This morning, futures are heading for a lower open as the U.S. and Iran exchange strikes. S&P futures are down 6 points. Dow futures are falling 175. And the U.S. is proposing a new tariff of at least 10% on imports from 60 trading partners, following an investigation into how trading partners handle goods allegedly produced by forced labor. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes. Boy, I believe in him and his two properties, got many, but two that he's been talking about a lot with me and with you, Cottleville Trails and Strawberry Farms. Folks, these are communities worth your time. Cottleville Trails, you can save up to $83,000 on move-in ready homes. This is just a short walk or golf cart ride to Main Street, Cottleville. I want a golf cart where I can drive up to get a coffee or see some live music. How great is that? Loads of restaurants in Cottleville. At brand new Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri, the new display is open. Special opening savings. McKelvey Homes. They've been building in St. Louis for families since 1898. They are Missouri's oldest home builder, and they've been going strong for 128 years. You'll get legendary quality, prime locations from McKelvey Homes, people who stand for our community as well, because every time they sell a home, they donate $1,898 to a nonprofit right here. McKelvey Homes. Go to McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for buying gas. That's right. You can earn cash back with Upside just for buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside, and just last year, I made nearly $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get cash back? If you like extra cash, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back when you fill your tank. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
USA in the FIFA World Cup 26th and the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. We hosted KMOX listeners there last week, and trust us, the atmosphere is incredible. Huge screens, great seats everywhere, ice cold beer, $15 Michelob Ultra pitchers, $20 Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts, and collectible FIFA cups while supplies last. Bring your crew, cheer on Team USA at the Beer Garden. Visit BudweiserTours.com for details.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the Rangers.
Ackerman Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:40 and time for traffic and weather, and we'll start here with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, just getting word of an injured crash on Highway 30 if you're headed that way, just be prepared. This traffic report's a service of Community America Credit Union. It's Highway 30 at Northwest Boulevard, so I'm assuming it's eastbound. There's not much in the way of a backup there right now, but we'll keep tabs on it. What I'm looking at is the backup that has not gone away, and this is still westbound 70, this jam from Wentzville Parkway most of the way to David Hokel Parkway. They were picking up road work. It looks like we have a problem now. Don't know if it's a stall or a crash in one of the two available lanes. So I want to talk about your USPS Ground Advantage reliable route. If you're westbound 70, get off at Wentzville Parkway and take the North Service Road out to David Hokel Parkway, and you'll get by this jam almost completely. Just a little, you might have to wait a little bit at the back end to get off at the Wentzville Parkway exit. Northbound 270, Big Bend Doherty Ferry's a little slow. Clayton Road up to 64 is busy. Eastbound 30, West Watson at 270 is heavy. Northbound 55, a slowdown at 141 in the right lanes through Madison. Starting to see roadwork delays. Eastbound 5570, 203 Midway into 111. Next update at 650 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Community America Credit Union helps you and me, shortstop Mason, win. To win big. Cash back, free checking, win. No service fees or minimum balance, win. So yeah, you really can win with Community America. So can I. That's a win-win.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. My daughter and I went fishing yesterday afternoon close to home, and I think we may do the same today. It is perfect weather for that.
Absolutely. It is incredibly comfortable right now for this time of the year. Usually it's a June, July, and August. It's, how high into the 90s is it going to go, and how high is the humidity going to be? But none of that today. It's going to be another comfy day with sunshine, some clouds, and a high of 83 with that low humidity. Overnight tonight, we're expecting temperatures to drop into the mid-60s. Tomorrow, sunshine, some clouds, warm, a little bit more humid for the afternoon. Our high gets to 86. On Friday, clouds and sun, very warm, and you'll feel the humidity. And with it, maybe a thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 87. Saturday, a lot more clouds and sun, warm and humid. There can be a thunderstorm around at any time, but also I think long breaks where there's nothing going on whatsoever, the high 86. Kind of humid for Sunday, lots of clouds, a little better chance for some showers and a thunderstorm, the high 83. Right now, we're looking at 56 degrees at St. Peter's, 57 in Florissant, mainly sunny, and 62 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. It is 6:43 right now. And the United States Postal Service dog bite report for 2025 is out. Missouri is prominently featured in the top 10. We get more from Sam Stevie.
The report comes out in late May each year ahead of the dog bite awareness campaign in June. Nationwide, there were just over 5,200 incidents, a drop from years prior. Ranking 6th overall for most dog bites, St. Louis recorded 40 in 2025. In Kansas City, 30. The 10th most in the country. The state as a whole ranked 8th with 182 total bites. Kansas, unranked. The 3 worst cities for dog bites, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Denver. The worst state, California. To avoid attacks on postal carriers, they ask that you please do not answer the door to greet the postal carrier. And if you're going to, put your dog in a separate room and close the door before opening the front door. They also say to never underestimate your pet. Don't trust the screen door or the plate glass window. And if your carrier is attacked or even feels threatened, the owner may be required to pick up their mail at the local post office until that carrier is confident that the pet is under control.
It's coming up on 645. Let's talk some baseball, Matt Pauley. And unfortunately, the Cardinals just can't figure out a way to pull off a victory. The game last night got away from them after they tied it. They lost it in the 9th, and it wasn't just Riley O'Brien giving up runs in the 9th inning. It was the Cardinals not able to add on in the 8th.
The Cardinals do not play their cleanest game of the year, losing to the Rangers 7-4. Whether it's not executing some fundamentals or not being able to get the big hit to score some more runs, the game features a number of moments that could have swung the game. Manager Oliver Marmol is blunt in his assessment of the team's play.
You have to execute at a really high level to win a big league game. We didn't do that. We didn't deserve to win that game. If you end up snatching it at the end there, that's fine, but you're not proud of the way the kind of game unfolds. You have to execute at a much higher rate to be consistent at this level. That's just bottom line.
The Cardinals have lost the first 2 games of a home series for just a second time this year. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cardinals are in 3rd place right now in the National League Central. Let's take a look at the scoreboard around the National League. First of all, the Milwaukee Brewers are dominating this division right now. They beat the Giants 8-3 last night. And the Pirates are also starting to roll here. They're 5 games over 500. They beat the Astros 10-6. A's knocked off the Cubs 2-1. The Cardinals are currently in a tie with the Cubs for 3rd place in the division, with the Brewers leading the Pirates by 5.5, the Cardinals by 6.5, along with the Cubs, and the Reds are 7 back and in last place, although the Reds won last night 4-3 over the Royals in 10 innings. The Reds are 2 games over 500, so they might be a last place team, but just to put it in perspective, they would be just a game out of the wild card at the moment, and they'd be one of the best teams in the American League. They would own a playoff spot in the American League if they played over there, most likely. The White Sox currently own one of the spots, and the Rangers own a 3rd wild card spot. The team that just beat the Cardinals is still a game under 500, even though they won 5 in a row. The American League's not even close to the National League prominence, but here come the Rangers into St. Louis trying to sweep a series. 6:45 start tonight. We'll have the pregame for you at 5:50. Big night tonight in San Antonio. They haven't had a playoff team there in 7 years. Now they have a team in the NBA Finals. The Spurs host the Knicks tonight. It's a 7:30 tip-off. Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending NBA champions, lost to the Spurs. And while the Thunder would have been a great opponent for the Knicks, I think the Spurs are the ones that have this incredible, fascinating player in Victor Wembanyama that will draw in the casual fan. A 7'4" player, very young. He's only 22, who can handle the ball and shoot the lights out. We'll hear from Bob Costas about that coming up next hour. And in the Stanley Cup final, it was Game 1 in the books for the Vegas Golden Knights on the road. They beat Carolina 5-4 to take Game 1 in Raleigh. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. St. Louis Composting. That company has been around for a little while now, and what I didn't realize when I first started talking about them, they have 9 locations in the St. Louis area, 9 of them. So you can take your truck or trailer over to St. Louis Composting, any of their 9 locations listed at stlcompost.com, and you can load up with compost, soil, or mulch. Or you can do what we did, which I really like, is that we had it delivered to our house. They brought it right over. You can look, we felt that drought-like conditions last summer. The drought in Missouri was brutal. You can keep that moisture in your yard, in your soil, by using mulch, and it's not too late to do that. Refresh your entire landscape. St. Louis Composting, stlcompost.com. Growing gardens, making memories.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched a spot in the playoffs and have earned dome field advantage. That's right, Battlehawks fans. Playoff football is returning to St. Louis. Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m., the Battlehawks host a home playoff game right here in the Dome. And we need Battlehawks Nation louder than ever. Sharpen your wings, lock in, and let's finish the mission. Get your tickets today at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
Join KMOX and Community American Credit Union for a free evening of fun as they celebrate the grand opening their new De Peres branch June 4th from 5 till 7 p.m. It'll be a great time. You could win swag from the big ATM, the Amazing Things machine, meet Cardinals alumni, get a photo with Fred Bird, plus free food, entertainment, and more. And a chance to come on out and say hi to Chris Ranchi from the Chris and Amy Show. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
6:50, and Roger Brand joins us. He's got the latest on your ride in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, earlier traffic was trickling through, but now I'm not seeing any traffic coming through, so that's not a good sign. That means the lanes are shut down. Westbound 70, we've been talking about this. Yesterday morning it was a semi off the roadway. At least I could see that one. This one's back up around the bend out of my line of sight. But again, an incident blocking westbound 70 east of David Hochul Parkway, just a little further east than what yesterday's incident was. And it's still a solid jam right at Wensfield Parkway because of it. So again, to get off at Wensfield Parkway and take the North Service Road out to David Hochul Parkway and avoid this jam. Eastbound Highway 70, approaching Lake St. Louis into Bryan Road, you're kind of busy there. Eastbound 64, a little slow at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Northbound 270, north of Sappington through Gravois is slow, and then Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladou's busy. Eastbound 30 at Northwest Boulevard, that crash is on the shoulder, so it's not causing any problems. On the Illinois side, you have this roadwork slow down. Eastbound 5570, 203, headed into 111 right now as well. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Well, it's a nice day to go look at some homes, I would imagine. A sunny to partly cloudy day, pleasant with low humidity, a high of 83, mainly clear, low 64 tonight. Tomorrow, another good one, a little more humid in the afternoon, sunny with some clouds and a high of 86. Currently, we have bright sun in downtown St. Louis. It's slowly warming up, 57 downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:52, and hey, the Science Center is adding a 6th day to their operating schedule. Tuesdays are now the only day that the Science Center will be closed. That starts this week. The CEO says he hopes adding the hours will help extend their mission of curiosity and engagement in science. The Science Center opens this morning at 9:30.
Most kids have been home from school for a week or so, and if they're already getting bored, get them signed up for the STL Summer Adventure at St. Louis Public or St. Louis County Library.
It's not a homework packet. It's not a to-do list. We provide multiple pathways with all kinds of cool activities they can do at home, in the community, at our community partners, at the library.
Joe Monahan is Director of Youth Services at St. Louis Public Library. He says more than 40,000 kids and teens participated last summer, and they gave away a ton of prizes and tickets. He says the program is about helping kids figure out what they're interested in or passionate about and pursuing that.
How much of the current U.S. population remembers 9/11?
More than half the nation wasn't born or was under the age of 10. There was a study done actually over Memorial Day weekend with some Gen Zers in California, and more of them knew about Pearl Harbor than they did about 9/11.
Chris Meek, founder and chairman of the 9/11 Legacy Foundation, says that statistic is concerning since there is no federal mandate requiring schools to teach about 9/11. Instead, 14 states do mandate it. Chris says the other states leave it up to individual school districts who often only briefly cover it.
And so this is modern history, and people just don't understand what the phrase never forget means.
New data reveals a concerning disparity in mental health among older adults. A University of Michigan poll focused on healthy aging and found that LGBTQ plus seniors are more likely to struggle with feelings of isolation and report poorer mental health than their peers.
Dr. Jeff Colgren, the poll's director, breaks down the numbers.
We found, for example, that 19% of LGBTQ plus adults over 50 rate their mental health as fair or poor, compared with 11% of non-LGBTQ plus adults. And some of those differences extended beyond social challenges and mental health disparities.
The poll also found that LGBTQ plus seniors were more than twice as likely to report feeling isolated. Researchers say addressing these mental health gaps will require a closer look at both social support and healthcare access.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Happy birthday to our very own Hale Irwin. 3-time U.S. Open champion is 81 today. 14-time French Open champion Rafael Nadal is 40 today.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Remember, birthday and anniversaries can be emailed to totalam@kmox.com. Happy birthday wishes going out to Monica Bruning from GNO, Patty Eischen, Jim Kircher, Mary Schlitt. Happy 55th to Chris McMahon from Carol and the Family. And Bob says, happy 65th anniversary to best friend and love of my life, Lois Adams.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here. I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. And look, I've been using Burn Balance Complex since the week that it was released, and you notice the benefits really soon after you get started. Look, what Burn Balance Complex is a complete metabolism system. It is not just a fat burner. It works with your body, not against you, right? It's not bringing a lot of the negativity that other supplements bring. It's nothing but the good stuff. It's a natural weight loss option for people that just don't want prescriptions or injections. Get that. I understand it. And to me, Burn Balance Complex is the best thing I've used when it comes to natural weight loss. Also helps with reducing stress and lowering cortisol levels. You're going to get appetite and cravings control along with that, plus all-day focused energy with no jitters, which is the best part. Look, it's not magic. You got to put in the work. Burn Balance Complex makes putting in the work that much easier. So get out to supplement superstores, tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you, and they'll knock 30% off for you right there on the spot. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress. But one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Story Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Story Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceStoryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hey, let's check in with Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, there's still no change on westbound Highway 70 in Wentzville. It's still shut down. We have an incident just before David Holcomb Parkway. It's a little further east than where the yesterday's tractor-trailer crash was, but the end result is the same. No traffic's getting through. Westbound 70 is a solid jam back to 61, so just be prepared. The good news is, just like yesterday, eastbound 70 is not bothered by it. You're cruising on by there. In fact, eastbound 70 is barely even slow, just east of Highway A. Southbound 61 crossing over onto 64 through Prospect is kind of busy there. North 270, Sappington Road overpass up to Gravois. It's a little heavy past Doherty Ferry, and then slow north of Manchester all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55, looking good right now at Arnold, and after that, it's a good run into the city downtown. We've got this road work underway on 5570. There are actually delays both directions now between 203 and 111, just slowdowns. Again, they're working both directions and have restrictions even during the morning and afternoon rush hour commutes through the area. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday, June 3rd. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
A court has ruled on the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioner suit against the city. Now what? I'm Maria Kina. I'll tell you.
I'm Tom Ackerman. Also in the news this morning, we'll be taking a look at.
I'm Sean Malone. The Festus City attorney says he will review the recall petitions against the mayor and 3 council members to assess their legality. Does he have the power to stop the recall? I've got this story coming up.
St. Louis teases a major sports announcement to be made at the Olympic Rings on the Washington University campus. I'm Michael Calhoun with what it could be.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Pleasant today, sunshine mixing with clouds with low humidity, the high 83.
It's 7 o'clock on KMOX.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The votes are still being counted in California's huge open primary for governor. More than 60 candidates were on the ballot. So far, the leader appears to be Republican and Fox News host Steve Hilton.
It looks very much as if Californians really will have the chance to vote for change in November and take our state in a new direction.
If no candidate gets more than 50%, which is virtually assured, then the top 2 go to a runoff. In Los Angeles, incumbent Mayor Karen Bass is projected to advance. She could face reality star Spencer Pratt. Kuwait says an Iranian attack on its main airport left 1 person dead and significant damage. The airport is now partially reopened. Hostage negotiators in Bakersfield, California, still trying to convince a man who claims to have a bomb to let the hostages he's holding come out. 2 hostages released so far. This is ABC News. We're hearing from the mother of a teenager with special needs who hasn't been seen since a class trip to the Jersey Shore. ABC's Matt Rivers explains what happened.
DeVoris Carter's family says the 14-year-old was with a chaperone and a family member on the trip. But when that family member went to get something to eat, DeVoris went into the water with several other children while staff watched from shore.
There were no lifeguards present at all, and they still allowed these children that special needs to get into the water.
The other children were rescued by a police officer. The incident comes just days after a 12-year-old boy from Long Island drowned during a rafting trip on the Lehigh River in the Poconos.
The UK has ordered Google to allow news sites to opt out of having their online content scraped to feed Google's AI overviews. The Competition and Markets Authority watchdog looking to loosen the tech giant's stranglehold on the UK's online search market by forcing changes to the company. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We have clear skies and 58 degrees downtown at the Arch. It's 7:02. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. The 22-year-old suspect in the fatal Troy, Illinois house explosion was denied release yesterday by a judge. The explosion in April left 3 dead, including a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 12-year-old girl. The suspect, Colton Sissel, is charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter of a family member, among multiple other charges. Prosecutors allege he was storing more than 1,000 pounds of explosives in the home. During a hearing yesterday, the judge ordered Sissel to be held in the Madison County Jail pending the trial.
St. Louis City's Board of Police Commissioners President Chris Saraceno says the plan to give raises to civilian and command staff is not hasty, but a part of their certified expenses from February. KMOX's Chris and Amy pressed Saraceno on why the state-appointed board did not send one of their commissioners to testify before the Board of Aldermen about their budget, despite all receiving subpoenas.
Saraceno says they were advised not to until a judge has provided legal clarity over which budget goes into effect, theirs or the city's.
The end goal is for the citizens and the visitors of the city of St. Louis to win by providing a good clarity, providing good public safety, and being able to work good partners with the city of St. Louis.
Saraceno was asked if they consider the fire department and EMS, which also must be provided equal raises to the ones the police board votes on, which further complicates the city's budget issues. He didn't address the first responder pay parity specifically, saying all departments are integral to the success of St. Louis. The board is expected to take up this issue at Thursday's meeting at 9.
The city gets a win in court, but the St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners is vowing to appeal to Missouri's Supreme Court.
The board's suit was trying to expand the city's definition of general revenue. Circuit Judge Joe Moriarty said no to the board's request for that $67+ million to be added to their budget by July. The court found that general revenue includes current income for the current year, not prior years. So that means no RAM settlement money and accumulated reserves. The board is also looking at giving SLMPD command staff substantial raises, something Alderman Rasheen Aldridge calls fiscally irresponsible and disconnected from the needs of St. Louis residents. The St. Louis police officer's business manager, Joe Steiger, says in a partial statement, it appears the Missouri Supreme Court will eventually provide the legal clarity all sides need to move forward. Our message has been consistent. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The attorney representing the mayor of Festus and the council members facing a recall is asking the city attorney to find the petitions for recall legally deficient.
Hatfield's letter implores Festus City Attorney Brian Malone to find the petitions were vague or did not list a legal reason to recall his clients. If he were to, could he take any direct action to stop the recall?
I have no authority to stop the recall petition. All I can do is give advice to the council and answer their questions and provide my and explain my legal analysis.
Malone says he will advise the council ahead of next week's meeting. Hatfield says if the council does vote to put the recalls on the ballot, he will file a lawsuit. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The petition's organizers announced yesterday that they have secured the 36 signatures necessary now to recall Ward 1 Councilman David Boyer.
We need better and cheaper health care.
That's Missouri Senior Senator Josh Hawley on legislation, the Patients Before Monopolies Act, that he has co-authored with Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren. You might think it's a fluke, but they have a second bill, the Break Up Big Medicine Act.
There are fewer and fewer pharmacies. You know, in Missouri, there's 2 whole counties that have no pharmacies at all, 0. That's because more and more of these big PBMs, big insurance are buying up the small guys and putting them out of business. We need to stop that. We need more competition. We need protections for patients.
Those 2 Missouri counties without a pharmacy are Knox and Schuyler, and 16 others are considered pharmacy deserts.
The fate of an economic development bill is now in the hands of Governor Kehoe. It includes a new tool called Innovation Zones. The sponsor, State Representative Brad Christ of St. Louis County, says the zones will include a new fund for public safety upgrades.
50% of net new state income tax and state sales tax revenue generated within these zones from the benefits would be invested in those zones for policing, lighting, wayfinding, sidewalks, etc.
Christ also says 10% of tax revenue generated within an innovation zone will be used to support rural education, healthcare, and housing. City boosters say it would be a huge help in renovating some massive vacant buildings downtown. Governor Kehoe has until July 14th to sign off on the bill.
A vacant Grand Center building on Page could be demolished. The city of St. Louis is seeking bids to demo the building once owned by Northside Regeneration starting in mid-July. The Covenant Blue Grand Center Neighborhood Association sued, hoping to take control of the building or force Paul McKee's company to make repairs to it.
Now, though, according to the Business Journal, the city hopes that removing deteriorating properties like this one in North St. Louis will give way to new development in the area. The demolition would be paid for through ARPA funds.
We have growing issues right now on the roads in Wentzville. Roger Brand will sort it out for us in 2 minutes. It's 7:08.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step. providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The summer's finally here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the summer. Don't let rising gas prices stop you from having a clean and healthy home. Zero Res is keeping comfort affordable with powerful cleaning at a price families can feel good about. Zero Res can handle every surface in your home: carpets, tile, grout, hardwood, laminate, upholstery, rugs, air ducts, and more. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
Get everything you need for your garden project now at Menards. Schultz Granule Plant Food is specially formulated to make your flowers healthier and bloom brighter. It's easy to use, requires no mixing, and it contains micronutrients that encourage rapid blooming while providing rich color and strong root development. Save big on Schultz Plant Food, located in our garden center. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, let's get a look at the roadways and the weather on this beautiful Wednesday morning. It's 7:10, and first we'll check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, about 4 minutes ago, they finally cleared this crash we had westbound 70 east of David Hokel Parkway, so traffic is getting through, but it was only 4 minutes ago, so it's still a solid jam on westbound Highway 70 from Highway 61 most of the way out to David Hokel Parkway, so give it a little time. It's still just creeping along through there, but it'll get better, I'm sure, unless we have another problem. Keep your fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Southbound 61 crossing over onto 64 through Prospect, kind of slow there. North 270, north of 55 up to the Sappington Road overpass, and then approaching Manchester up to Ladou's busy. Start to see a little bit of a backup coming into Northwest Boulevard. We had a crash there with injuries. It was on the shoulder, but they may have the right lane blocked by the emergency crews. Not a big jam, but it is backed up a bit now where it wasn't 10 minutes ago. North 55 looks great from Festus all the way into downtown. And downtown, not as bad as it was 10 minutes ago, but there's still some slow traffic both ways on 5570, about midway between 203 and 111. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny to partly cloudy and pleasant today with low humidity, the high 83. Mainly clear tonight, though 64. Sunshine and some clouds tomorrow, warm and a bit more humid in the afternoon, high 86. On Friday, intervals of clouds and sun, quite warm and rather humid, with a thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 87. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 58 in Florissant, 58 in St. Peter's, and we have a sunny sky, 58 downtown at the Arch.
The city of St. Louis is ramping up the demolition of tornado-damaged homes.
I'm outside of 4445 Page Boulevard in North City, where city crews are going to begin demolishing this building, one of about 15 properties that are going to begin demolition this week. Now, this building located right next door to Rankin Technical College. If you look at it, the side of the building is collapsed and spilling outward. And while there's a bunch of personal property, couches, dressers, I see a small charcoal grill, all piled up in a side yard next to the building. Inside, there still remains some property as well. Now, as I mentioned, this building is one of 15 that will begin demolition this week, but it is still a large scale of demolition to be done in the city of St. Louis. The scope of the work is in progress for nearly 600 buildings. 346 are in the contractor pipeline to be demolished by the city, with another 56 set to be demolished by the state. And so far, the city has demolished 104 buildings. In North City, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
There's a major announcement related to sports happening in St. Louis tomorrow. KMOX's Michael Calhoun looks into what it could and couldn't be.
The St. Louis Sports Commission reveals the news at Washington University. The news conference is taking place at the Olympic ring sculpture at Francis Olympic Field. While the official details are under wraps, one potential outcome could be the 2028 Olympics marathon trials. St. Louis has been a finalist for that alongside Phoenix. One event that local sports fans can rule out is gymnastics. Those trials already got awarded to Louisville back in April.
That news conference set for 2 o'clock tomorrow at WashU.
Missouri is making a big bid for the next international sporting event.
We're in the middle of bidding for Women's World Cup for 2031.
Jim Rowland is Visit Missouri's national account manager for sports tourism. Kansas City is the only Midwest city hosting FIFA World Cup matches this year. That bodes well for the women's soccer events in 5 years.
Well, think about this. I mean, KC Current and the development of their facility, the first purpose-built women's professional soccer stadium, is just life-changing for us and for women's sports.
Kansas City is one of only 11 cities in the U.S. hosting this year's FIFA Men's World Cup games. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
You can learn more about the impact of the FIFA World Cup 26 on Missouri tomorrow morning on Total Information AM.
Well, that was captured by Zemaj Media, the local Bosnian soccer podcast. The moment local fans welcomed the Bosnia and Herzegovina national soccer team through the gates at Lambert Airport. Warm weather met them, along with a 7-hour jump from the clock back home. The team, known to supporters as the Dragons, is in town for a week of training and a World Cup tune-up against Panama this Saturday at Energizer Park. For the region's Bosnian community, one of the largest anywhere outside Europe, that visit means everything. Let's turn to baseball first on KMOX at 7:15.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and last night at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals and Rangers battled through 8 in a 4-4 game, and then things fell apart for Riley O'Brien. A leadoff walk turned into a run. The guy who got the base hit following the walk, Higashioka, was replaced by a pinch runner, but that pinch runner scored. Jock Peterson drove in the go-ahead run. In all, the Rangers got the line moving, 3 runs in the ninth and won 7-4.
Nolan Gorman homered for the Cardinals. There were a lot of hits for the Cardinals. They just couldn't get the big hit, and the Rangers were able to score in 4 of the last 5 innings.
Riley O'Brien took the loss. The win to Cal Quantrill, who threw 1 pitch and got it out in the 8th inning, and a save for Jacob Junis, the former Kansas City Royal. Andre Palante tonight trying to salvage a game for the Cardinals in the series.
Palante's good at keeping the ball in the infield. This is a good Rangers offense. He needs to get those ground balls today.
The first pitch thrown by Palante at 6:45.
Gentlemen, no doubt Riley O'Brien in that 9th inning giving up the runs is going to get a lot of attention. But really, let's focus here on the 8th inning for this discussion and the cut of the game sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. The 8th inning's the one that got him because Jimmy Crooks with a double. The Cardinals had a 4-4 game to work with, and he leads off with a double. Now you are in business. They pinch run with Thomas Saggese, but Victor Scott, his job was to bunt Saggese over, and he popped out in foul territory to the third baseman. Then J.J. Weatherholt, 1 out, runner at second base. He pops out to shortstop. Then Cal Quantrill comes into the game to face Ivan Herrera with 2 away.
The opponents are batting .234 against him, and here is Ivan Herrera. Go-ahead run at second base. Herrera swings, and a hot shot to short, fielded by Duran, who throws him out. And we're going to the 9th, tied at 4.
And that, folks, is the story of the game. That's disappointing. Here's manager Ollie Marmol.
Yes, the guys straight on the corners, obviously, after you tie the game in the 7th, spot with Vic and the bunt. I mean, they're how do you look at the way that those things went down?
You have to execute at a really high level to win a big league game. We didn't do that. We didn't deserve to win that game. If you end up snatching it at the end there, that's fine. But you're not proud of the way the kind of game unfolds. You have to execute at a much higher rate to be consistent at this level. That's just bottom line.
Cardinals are 6.5 out in the NL Central, tied with the Cubs for 3rd place. Again, it's a 6:45 start tonight. Beautiful weather for tonight at Busch Stadium between the Cardinals and the Rangers. NBA Finals, Game 1 in San Antonio tonight. The Knicks and the Spurs will tip off at 7:30. Bob Costas will explain why this has so much appeal coming up at 7:45. Stanley Cup final game one last night. Vegas beat Carolina 5-4 on the road. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Norm Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
I'm Dan Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, millions of people called us for representation. Why? Because trust grows when you win, and we've won a lot. Over $30 billion and counting. When you call America's largest injury law firm, you're calling a family. You're calling an army, our army. You're calling somebody who will fight for you. Injured? Let our family fight for your family. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renters also hire experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20. It is shaping up to be a beautiful day, possibly the best day of this forecast, which we'll get to in just a moment. But first, let's see how your ride in looks. Roger Brand is joining us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we finally don't have a jam, Debbie. It's still slow, but at least it's slow and not at a standstill like it was. But westbound 70 is still kind of busy in spots from 61 out toward David Hokel Parkway due to an earlier crash we had that they've cleared. It was completely shut down westbound for a while. Eastbound 70 going the other way looked great. There's just a little slowdown between Cave Springs and Zabel. Eastbound 64, just a little slow at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Westbound 64 starting to see a little volume around the Bellevue Big Bend area. Northbound 270, of course, that's slow from 55 to Gravois, briefly at 44. North of Big Bend through Doherty Ferry, and then Manchester all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 364 looks a little heavy. Bennington up to 270. If you're on eastbound Highway 30, still a little heavy traffic coming through Northwest Boulevard to Gravois Bus. We had an earlier crash there. North 55 just slow as you ramp onto North 270. And on the Illinois side, more delays on 5570. If you're westbound, seeing delays east of 111 into 203 and eastbound between 203 and 111. There are a couple of pockets, but the westbound side certainly busier there now. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The road to the United Bowl starts here. Your St. Louis Battlehawks have clinched the playoffs and earned dome field advantage. Playoff football is coming back to St. Louis, Sunday, June 7th at 5 p.m. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com. United, we battle.
Perfect weather forecast, sunny to partly cloudy, pleasant, low humidity today, high 83. Mainly clear, low 64 tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine and some clouds, warm and a bit more humid in the afternoon with a high of 86. Currently, it's 58 downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:22, and does your dog like the mailman? The United States Postal Service Dog Bite Report for 2025 is out, and Missouri is prominently featured in the top 10 list. We get details from Sam Stevie.
The report comes out in late May each year ahead of the Dog Bite Awareness Campaign in June. Nationwide, there were just over 5,200 incidents, a drop from years prior. Ranking 6th overall for most dog bites, St. Louis recorded 40 in 2025. In Kansas City, 30. The 10th most in the country. The state as a whole ranked 8th with 182 total bites. Kansas, unranked. The 3 worst cities for dog bites: Los Angeles, Dallas, and Denver. The worst state, California. To avoid attacks on postal carriers, they ask that you please do not answer the door to greet the postal carrier. And if you're going to, put your dog in a separate room and close the door before opening the front door. They also say to never underestimate your pet. Don't trust the screen door or the plate glass window. And if your carrier is attacked or even feels threatened, the owner may be required to pick up their mail at the local post office until that carrier is confident that the pet is under control.
When it comes to healthy aging, your doctor might need to ask you about more than just your physical symptoms. A new University of Michigan poll highlights the critical role social connection plays in overall health, especially for LGBTQ plus seniors.
Dr. Jeff Kulgren, who directed the poll, says healthcare providers need to take a more holistic approach to patient care.
These findings are important because social connection is a major determinant of healthy aging. Feeling well supported as we age can affect mental health, physical health, and quality of life. So, based on these findings, healthcare organizations need to ensure that all patients feel welcome and respected. And providers should also ask about social support networks and connect patients with community resources when needed.
The poll revealed LGBTQ plus seniors reported experiencing more barriers to preventative dental and mental health care over the past year. Experts say making sure patients feel welcome and respected in healthcare settings is crucial to improving those numbers.
Congressman Wesley Bell is on his way to Louisiana. He says one of his constituents was, in his words, kidnapped by ICE.
And unlike someone charged with a serious crime like murder, who would have access to an attorney, who would have access to court, and we would know where they were, ICE operates in the shadow. They won't work with us so we can get the privacy form to help them. And so now we have to fly down there to get it, and that's what we're going to do.
Bell is inquiring about Maplewood Richmond Heights School District custodian Bonergis Flores Bravo, who was here with a valid work permit. It's believed he is being deported to Nicaragua.
Only 14 states require school districts to teach about 9/11. According to Chris Meek, founder and chairman of the 9/11 Legacy Foundation, says districts are not teaching about the event or are only spending maybe half a day on it, although curriculums are enforced at the state level in some states in the U.S. Meek says there's a push for a federal solution.
We're finalizing a curriculum right now, which we will propose to the Department of Education in Washington. Then we'll give more resources to the school districts across the country to choose from.
The STL Summer Adventure just kicked off its 3rd year. It's a partnership between St. Louis County and St. Louis Public Library.
We really frame it all around inspiring kids to find what interests them, what they're passionate about, and then pursue that.
Joe Monahan is director of youth services at St. Louis Public Library. He says, yes, there is some reading involved, but also a number of activities for a variety of interests, and completing the program earns kids prizes.
Last year, we were just under 40,000 kids participated in the program, which we were really excited about.
Starting today, the Science Center will be open 6 days a week. The Science Center's president and CEO tells KMOX they're happy to see year-over-year growth since the end of the pandemic, as well as high satisfaction ratings. Doors open at 9:30 this morning, and of course, it's still free.
7:26 time check, sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
What a day to be at the MAC pool. Beautiful day. Missouri Athletic Club pool is open, and the members and guests are having a blast at the MAC West. We also have partnerships with a number of golf courses around the area. What a day to tee it up. Beautiful day to play golf, and the Missouri Athletic Club reciprocals allow us to have privileges at a number of golf courses. Speaking of that, when I travel, I always check to see what reciprocals are available. The Missouri Athletic Club has them all over the country, and quite frankly, internationally as well, all over the world. The Missouri Athletic Club, downtown, 405 Washington Avenue, MAC West, 1777 De Pere Road, and now in the Pierre Laclede Center in Clayton. That's the one everyone's asking about. What does it look like in there? Well, it looks amazing. I can tell you, 14th and 15th floors of that building are fantastic, with bars and restaurants and all kinds of activity. Just a great place to unwind, relax, close a business deal, whatever you may want to use the MAC for. It's all there for you. The Missouri Athletic Club, mac-stl.org.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, We're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Hi, I'm Mark Cantor. The people around here are hardworking people, just like you. And when someone in your family gets hurt in a car wreck, everything can change very fast. That's why having a local lawyer matters. At Cantor Injury Law, we know these towns, these roads, and the people who drive them every day. When you call us, you're calling a local team with boots on the ground, ready to fight for you. You can count on Cantor.
CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Around baseball, they're talking about St. Louis, a youth movement that's not waiting for the future. Names like Walker, Wynn, and Weatherholt aren't projections anymore. They're the conversation right now. And in a city where expectations never change, the conversation gets louder. Join the conversation. The Gas House Gang. Weekdays at noon. This is Cardinals talk that doesn't flinch.
It is 7:30, and right now we've got sunshine and 59 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they just dispatched emergency crews for a crash report at southbound 55 at Gasconade. I don't see it right now, and I also don't see any delays. But they also just a couple minutes before that, it sounds like they sent out EMS for an incident westbound 70 just west of David Hochul Parkway. Again, I can't see it, but traffic is starting to back up as you approach the parkway, so it looks like there may be something there. Just be prepared. Westbound, again, unfortunately. Eastbound, as it has been every other time, is fine. Now, there's a little slowdown eastbound 70 around the Wright City Rest area in the work zone, but there's nothing past that point. In fact, you look good all the way into the city from there. Southbound 61 is fine. Just the crossover onto 64 slow from there to Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and briefly from 170 to Hanley. North 270 bogged down as you ramp on from 55 up to Gravois, and then 44 all the way to Ladue. Southbound 270 south of 364 down to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 44 seeing delays east of Six Flags into 109 in Eureka. Not a jam, but it is pretty heavy there. Northbound 55 looks like we have a incident. I can't tell if it's a crash or a stall right at Joachim Creek, so traffic's backed up at McNutt because of that. And then again, I've been talking about this road work delays both ways. Westbound 5570 this morning start to really see slowdowns now west of 255 to 203 eastbound in that area. Not quite as bad. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg describes the perfect day like this: sunny to partly cloudy, pleasant with low humidity, high 83. That's what we have today. Mainly clear, low 64 tonight. Tomorrow, sunshine with some clouds, warm, a bit more humid in the afternoon, and a high of 86 degrees. Currently, it's sunny and 59 downtown at the Arch.
48-year-old Billy Meyerdirk of St. Joseph was arrested last week on child pornography charges after the Missouri State Highway Patrol raided his home. They found child porn on his electronic devices. He's being held on $10,000 bond.
A propane tank explodes in Wentzville, damaging multiple homes. It happened yesterday evening on Brookfield Boulevard, according to our partners at Fox 2. The home that exploded has been ruled a total loss, and 3 other homes were heavily damaged as well. 1 firefighter sustained minor injuries, and 3 pets, 1 cat and 2 dogs, were rescued from the blaze.
A St. Louis circuit judge rules that the state-appointed St. Louis Board of Police Commissioners cannot obtain Rams funds or the city's reserves.
Judge Joan Moriarty finds that general revenue only includes current income of the fiscal year in question and does not include income from prior years. That means the St. Louis Police Board of Commissioners is not eligible for Rams settlement money or any of the city's reserves. The police board filed suit claiming under state statute they were eligible for not just 22% of the city's general fund, but also the city's Ram settlement funds and 22% of its fiscal reserves. Moriarty rejected that argument, saying the money brought in during the current fiscal year, not money that entered the city's books in previous years, was the case with the Ram settlement, which the city received in 2022. Chris Saraceno, president of the police board, says while they're disappointed with Judge Moriarty's ruling, they plan to appeal to Missouri Supreme Court. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The St. Louis Board of Aldermen are expected to take up the proposed city water rate increase at today's meeting. The proposed increase comes as the city water division says it's been running under a deficit for the past 7 years. Under the proposal, bills would go up gradually over the next 8 years. The first 2 years of increases are 18%, then a 6% a year increase after that. Today's meeting will take place at 3:30 p.m. at City Hall.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 7:34. We've got your Money Minute next.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey, let's check your Money Minute. It's sponsored by Busey Bank. We get the very latest from Bloomberg.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. It's looking like a stratospheric launch for SpaceX's plans to become a public company. Elon Musk's rocket, satellite, and artificial intelligence company is said to be aiming to sell shares at $135 apiece for its record-breaking $75 billion initial public offering. That's according to Reuters. SpaceX is among the most closely watched public listing globally. Checking on the market, stocks are struggling to build on yesterday's record high. Futures are falling this morning. The cautious mood follows flare-ups in the Middle East that are testing the truce. And Game 1 of the NBA Finals are tonight, with Knicks fans hungry for their first championship since 1973 and superstar Victor Wembanyama playing. The finals are expected to be a ratings bonanza. Big viewership would help justify the 11-year, $76 billion media rights deal the NBA signed with Disney, Amazon, and Comcast back in 2024. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
Hey guys, summer is right around the corner, and right now Universal Windows Direct is making it easier than ever to get the job done. When you buy 4 windows, you get 4 for free. That's one of their biggest offers of the year. The more windows you replace, the more you save. Plus, you'll get 48 months of 0% interest financing, same as cash. 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com to schedule your free estimate today. That's universalwindowsdirect.com.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you.
Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
Today, the Cards, the Rangers.
Ackerman Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:39. 6 states held primary elections yesterday, and during those races, also a Supreme Court decision clearing the way for Alabama to use a congressional map in the 2026 elections that lower courts found to be racially discriminatory. ABC reports the justices have now allowed Republicans to use a contested congressional map in Alabama, which a lower court described as intentional race discrimination. The map eliminates one of 2 majority black districts currently held by Democrats.
It's 7:40. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, if you're headed out on westbound 70, it looks better now, so that's good news. This traffic report service the Scott Credit Union. They cleared whatever the minor incident was at David Holcomb Parkway. The backup I was seeing is gone, so it was a very short duration, and that's great, obviously. Eastbound 70, Wright City rest area in toward Wright City. You've got some slow traffic, but after that, it's just a little busy. 94 to 5th Street, not that bad otherwise. Southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway to 64. A couple of spots up toward Lake St. Louis Boulevard and 364 where it's busy. North 270. North of 55 to Gravois, 44 all the way to Ladue is bogged down. Southbound 270 approaching 364 to Ladue is busy. It's road work on eastbound 44. That right lane's closed as you approach 109, so traffic's backed up just a little east of Six Flags. But after that, a little crowded at Laclede Station, not bad. If you're on northbound 55, you've got some slow traffic gasking it up to Potomac. They had a report of a southbound crash in the area there. And on the Illinois side, westbound 5570, slow at 255 and then 111 into 203 and eastbound 203 toward 111. You've got heavy stuff. 64 Ball Avenue to the 70 split and then Route 3 to the Poplar slow. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Upgrade your summer ride with auto loan rates as low as 3.99% APR at Scott Credit Union. New or used, Scott Credit Union helps you love your ride and your rate. Learn more at scu.org. Rates vary. Terms and conditions apply.
7:41 and time to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. I'm reporting here from Studio B, Joe, that it looks absolutely lovely outside, and I can't wait to get out in the weather.
I'm looking forward to getting out and getting a nice long bike ride in this afternoon myself. It's going to be a beautiful day to do it with sunshine and low humidity, just a few wispy clouds. That should be about it. Our high 83. A clear night ahead with a low in the mid-60s, so a little warmer than this past night, but again, very comfortable overall. Sunshine, some clouds tomorrow, warm and a little bit more humid in the afternoon, the high 86. Warm and kind of humid for Friday with clouds and some, but that could be enough for a thunderstorm in the afternoon, the high 87. We go into the weekend, it'll remain humid. Clouds will limit sunshine Saturday, and there could be a pop-up thunderstorm at almost any time, the high 86. Mostly cloudy, humid Sunday. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm seem a bit more likely to end the weekend, the high 83. It's up to 64 at St. Peter's, 65 in Florissant. With that sunshine, it's now 67 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's 7:43, sports in 2 minutes. Reaction to President Trump's new pick for Director of National Intelligence following Tulsi Gabbard's exit. There's been bipartisan concern about the choice. William Pulte, who has served as the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Here is ABC News Washington Bureau Managing Editor Catherine Falders with more.
When you think about what the job actually entails and becoming the nation's top spy chief, being involved in some of the most sensitive information, he doesn't have any intelligence experience. It really makes you wonder what President Trump wants the job to actually be.
Former Republican Congressman George Santos is facing a new federal investigation 7 months after President Trump commuted his sentence. The probe is focused on suspicious bets placed with a prediction market platform. We get more from ABC's Sophie Flay.
Santos first gained infamy in 2022 when the lies he told during his campaign were exposed. He claimed to have graduated in the top of his class, that his mother worked at the World Trade Center on 9/11, and that his grandparents escaped the Holocaust. None of it was true. He was expelled from Congress and later pleaded guilty to identity theft and wire fraud, earning him a 7-year prison sentence.
Votes are being counted in California from Tuesday night's primary in the most populated state in the country. ABC's Alex Stone in Los Angeles, where all eyes are on the mayor and governor's races there.
Today in the two big races here in California, only one candidate is yet known heading into November.
We want to bring change to our city.
LA Mayor Karen Bass has enough votes to advance to the runoff. Former reality TV star Spencer Pratt is leading challenger Nithya Raman to be the candidate going up against Bass in November. And in the governor's race here, Republican Steve Hilton is leading in votes being counted to be in November's general election, followed by former HHS Secretary Javier Becerra. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
6 states held primary elections yesterday. In Iowa, the frontrunner in the Republican primary race for governor is now trailing, even with President Trump's endorsement. We get more from ABC's Emily Carson.
Randy Feenstra entered the race as the presumed favorite. He is the establishment candidate. He is a U.S. congressman. He has name recognition. People know who he is, and he got that big endorsement from President Trump, also former Iowa Governor Terry Branstad. However, in the last few days, a new poll by JMC Analytics has Randy Feenstra in second place. There are 5 candidates in this race.
Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbrook Resort, where every day is the weekend. Visit innsbrook-resort.com. Matt Pauley, where do you even begin? You're up in this game. You're down 4-2. You come back and tie it in the 7th. You have a chance to add on the 8th. Runner at second, nobody out. Vic can't drop down a bunt. Victor Scott the second pops out into foul territory. JJ Weatherholt pops out. Just poor execution, and Riley O'Brien ends up giving runs in the 9th inning, and Cardinals lose 7-4. Matt, this is not the same looking Cardinals team we saw earlier in the year.
All season long, we've spoken about the Cardinals' ability to be resilient and bounce back. With their 7-4 loss to the Rangers securing the series for Texas, the Cardinals have only won one series since May 17th. Manager Oliver Marmol says these games do not so much present an opportunity for resiliency, but instead an opportunity for improvement.
You lost a game, you go dissect it, you figure out what you did well, what you didn't do well, and you go get better the next day. It's not a matter of being resilient. You're big leaguers. You better learn how to turn the page. You have 162 games. So for me, it's more of a matter of continuing to see opportunities for growth and make sure that we're not missing those. Continue to drill those down and figure out who can and who can't.
The Cardinals have now lost 10 of their last 14. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cards and Rangers tonight at Busch Stadium at 6:45. Carolina lost game 1 of the Stanley Cup final at home last night to Vegas. Final score was 5-4. The NBA finals start tonight. 7:30 tip-off in San Antonio. The Knicks and the Spurs, a rematch of 1999. And Bob Costas on Sports on a Sunday morning. We talked about it. He was once the voice of the NBA finals. He also grew up in New York, and he knows since 1973, that's the last time the Knicks won the NBA title, and they are crazy about this team.
Oh, they're crazed about it. On the other hand, there was a cartoon in one of the New York newspapers just a few days ago a guy reading a newspaper and a callback to Dickens. It was the worst of times. It was actually, they did phrase it as Dickens did. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And the top is the Knicks and the bottom is the Mets going on simultaneously. So, but the Knicks, the entire city is crazed. Newscasts are leading with the Knicks, not just the sportscasts. And they have not just won all 3 rounds to get through the Eastern Conference and into the final, they obliterated their opponents. Their margins of victory are the greatest cumulatively in the history of the NBA playoffs. Now, the caution here is that while, the Hawks and the Sixers and the Cavs were good enough to make the playoffs, neither is as good as the Thunder or the Spurs. So we knew that once the Knicks had swept the Cavs and were just biding their time waiting for the Western Conference to be settled, that they were going to be up against it and a decided underdog no matter what, no matter how hot they are.
The Spurs are outstanding. They feature the 7'4" wonder in Victor Wembanyama. Innsbruck Resort is a wonder. It is where every day is the weekend, and it is surprising to people how close it is to St. Louis. I'll bet you people didn't realize till some of us started talking about it around here that in that St. Louis had its own resort area. Innsbruck is a resort. It's 7,500 acres of wildlife and hiking trails and waterfalls and lakes, 100 of them. A golf course, all kinds of opportunities. Get a paddleboard or a kayak and get out on the water at Innsbruck and just loving a vacation. That is what it's all about. Just getting away for a little while. Put the phone away in your beautiful home at Innsbruck, walk down to the lake, get in that watercraft, and you are out and about in nature, and you're just loving it. Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. Visit them online, innsbruck-resort.com. You'll be very happy that you did. And I think that if you took my advice, you'll be really happy about my parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. Because I told you, I was emphatic about this, that the Knicks are going to win the NBA title. Now, yes, I understand they're an underdog in this game tonight. They're an underdog at San Antonio. They are actually 4.5-point dogs, 5-point dogs. I love them +5 tonight. In fact, I love them to win the NBA title in 6. Last I looked at the Circus Sports app, they were +540 to win it in 6. I like that. So you want to take them tonight and to win it in 6, go for it. In my opinion, do what you want. That's my parlay of the day. Sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Join KMOX and Community American Credit Union for a free evening of fun as they celebrate the grand opening of their new De Beers branch June 4th from 5 till 7 p.m. It'll be a great time. You could win swag from the big ATM, the Amazing Things machine. Meet Cardinals alumni. Get a photo with Fred Bird, plus free food, entertainment, and more. And a chance to come on out and say hi to Chris Ranchi from the Chris and Amy Show. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, let's get a look at the roadways right now at 7:51. Roger Branson in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still slow eastbound 70 approaching the Wright City Rest area most of the way into Wright City proper, and then again from 94 into Earth City. If you're southbound 61 crossing over onto 64, you got slow traffic up to 364, and then east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. South 170 bogs down at Olive. Westbound 64 Science Center to Hanley delays. South 270 about Dorset down through Olive is the busiest part. North 270 a little slow at Gravois. Then 44 all the way up to Ladue is just bogged down. Eastbound 44 still a little busy coming in east of Six Flags to 109. The right lane was closed for road work. And then approaching Laclede Station, it's a little heavy. 55, a little bit of a congestion. 45 on Broadway to Potomac. There was a stall at Arsenal. They cleared two 203 to 255, both directions on 5570. You've got heavy traffic. And westbound 64, Law to the 70 split, and then 3rd Street to the Poplar is heavy as well. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Going to be a great day, Roger. Sunny with just a few clouds, low humidity, a high of 83 degrees. Tonight, clear, low 64. Tomorrow, sunshine, a little more humid, high of 86. Currently, it's 59 downtown at the Arch.
Missouri's war against feral hogs consisted of shooting more than 2,700 from aircraft and killing about 6,100 in 2025. Conservation Department Director Jason Sumner says 2 helicopters were used to hunt wild hogs during the winter months.
This year, USDA had a second helicopter equipped with forward-looking infrared FLIR camera to assist with winter operations. This new technology also assisted with feral hog elimination efforts and made the removal efforts more successful.
The total number of feral hogs slaughtered this year won't be released until next year.
We're learning more about the new low price for a couple GLP-1 weight loss drugs coming soon for some Medicare recipients.
On July 1st, eligible participants enrolled in the Medicare Part D prescription drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan that includes prescription drug coverage will have access to certain GLP-1 drugs for $50 a month. The director of the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, told Tuesday's White House press briefing some of the big brand names would be available, like Foundayo, Wegovy injections and tablets, and Zepbound's KwikPen.
The Trump RX product is the real deal, the true API, the pharmaceutical product that's made by the 2 major providers right now, which are Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly. There are other companies coming into the space. We have these products that are given by these companies as part of this deal. So we like to use the real product to be able to satisfy the needs of the American consumer. It's a brand name.
The program represents a substantial savings for weight loss medication users who can pay up to $1,400 a month for some drugs. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
And also, are you wearing wearable tech? Smartwatches and rings now measure far more than your daily step count. About 1/4 of U.S. consumers are now using health-related smart wearables. Ian Shear is an AI and tech analyst with Timeworthy Research, who says wearable tech has revolutionized the personal health landscape.
These have become good enough that they can actually help us discern some trends about ourselves and actually collect some useful information.
Users are still worried about data privacy and how exactly insurance companies could use their health data.
It's 7:55.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, let's put this in simple terms. You can't put your estate planning documents in a drawer and forget about them. That does not help your family when it matters most. They are estate documents. But my family's trusted the Laterman Law Firm here in St. Louis with our estate planning for over 20 years. And what sets them apart is they don't treat estate planning like a one and done thing. They treat it like what it really is. It is a living, breathing plan. You see, the plan is to protect your family, your assets, and your wishes. For a fixed annual fee, Laterman Law Firm keeps it updated as your life changes, because your life will change. Families' needs change, your assets change, the law changes. And because of this, many people don't realize how many plans out there are outdated until it's too late. That's why we stick with the Laterman Law Firm. The annual process that they offer is great. It keeps our plan up to date with changes over time. If you're in the St. Louis metro area and you want real peace of mind, this includes Illinois, by the way, the entire St. Louis metro area, check out the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
They know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards American Express card, earn 3 points per dollar spent on Lowe's qualifying purchases for the first 6 months after card account opening. Plus, save 5% every day on eligible purchases at Lowe's and earn points on eligible purchases everywhere else Amex is accepted. Card members get more at Lowe's. Subject to credit approval. 5% can't be combined with any other offer. Exclusions and restrictions apply. Points subject to loyalty terms at Lowe's.com/terms and credit reward terms at Synchrony.com/MLPRA-terms. Visit Lowe's.com/business credit.
You care about every detail, and so does Purina. Every ingredient in their pet food comes from trusted sources, and every ingredient has a purpose. Whether that purpose is to provide just the right nutrients your pet needs or a flavor they will love, Purina has over 250 recipes made without artificial flavors or preservatives for you to choose from. You're sure to find something both you and your pet will love. Learn more at Purina.com.
Here is Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, heading in on eastbound Highway 70 out in the Wright City area, you've still got some slow traffic through pretty much past the rest area before you get into Wright City. After that, it's just kind of slow Fifth Street into Earth City. If you're on eastbound 64, Prospect to 364 slow, and then east of Lindbergh through the Intervale, south 170 Bogstown at Olive, westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, the usual delays, south 270 just kind of off the pace, 364 toward Olive, but it opens up before you get there. Northbound 270, Gravois up to Ladue, or 44 up to Ladue, rather, is busy. Eastbound 44 east of Six Flags into 109 is still slow, and 5570 delays both directions, east of 111 to 203, and then 64 from Baugh Avenue to the Poplar is heavy. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny and 59 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. One of the biggest barriers for working women is their caregiving responsibilities, especially those sandwiched between kids and parents. We'll learn about a new effort to find solutions after the news.
It's the modern equivalent of day-old bread. New apps help you find super discounted surprise bags of food from the grocery store.
Could President Trump revive his massive lawsuit against the IRS now that plans for a government weaponization fund have been trashed? Megan Lynch will ask KMOX legal analyst Brad Young.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. More sun than clouds today, the high 83.
I'll be back for the Gas House Gang at noon.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Ballots are being counted in some of the biggest races from Tuesday's primary in California, but it may be a while before we know who won.
It's not a surprise at all. There are few firm answers here today. California is one of 8 states that mails every registered voter a ballot, and ballots now have a week to get back. Counties have 13 days to count all of the ballots and a month to certify the vote. So close races are never immediate here in California. But with numbers coming in now, it's becoming clear who will, who might, or who will not be in November's election.
ABC's Alex Stone. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is projected to move on to a runoff, but we don't know who her opponent might be. So far, no projections in the California governor's race where dozens of people were running. Kuwait says an Iranian attack on its main airport left one person dead and significant damage. The airport is now partially reopened. More than 60 people were hurt, many of them severely. This is ABC News. Texas has already had its primary, and now the Republican who will be running for longtime Senator John Cornyn's seat appears to be trying to mend fences in his personal life. ABC's Jim Ryan with more from Dallas.
A week after knocking incumbent Senator John Cornyn out of the running for his own seat, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton was on Capitol Hill meeting with Republicans in the Senate who had backed Cornyn before last week's primary runoff. Paxton will face Democrat James Tallarico in November. Back in Texas, the divorce that Angela Paxton filed for last July is now off the docket. An attorney for Ken Paxton telling WFAA-TV that the couple is working toward an amicable resolution. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Injuries to some of soccer star players, including Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, and Lamine Yamal, sparking concern ahead of the World Cup. All three included in the national team squads for the tournament in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. NBA Finals begin tonight in San Antonio. Spurs versus Knicks. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, June 3rd. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis County Judge Joan Moriarty makes a ruling in the St. Louis Police Board suit against the city.
The witnesses consistently testified that the term general revenue means current income received in a given year, and that revenue could not be counted more than once. But Moriarty says the state Supreme Court defined general revenue in Spink versus Kemp as all current income of the city, however, derived which is subject to appropriation for general public uses as distinguished from special uses. Moriarty finds that the evidence of the technical meaning of the term general revenue is consistent with the Missouri Supreme Court's decision. St. Louis Police Board President Chris Saraceno issuing a statement that reads in part, "We are disappointed with today's decision and intend to appeal the ruling to the Supreme Court." Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
The governor appointed St. Louis City Board of Police Commissioners announced millions of dollars in raises to command and civilian staff with just weeks left in the city's budget cycle.
This complicates the city's budget, not just for the police department, but also the fire department, with Mayor Kara Spencer saying in a statement they would also trigger equal raises for the fire department and EMS due to their pay parity. Asked if that was a consideration, Board President Chris Saraceno did not address the fire department or EMS specifically, keeping his answer about the city as a whole.
Our streets department, our parks department, the men and women who work in City Hall, they are all important and integral part of the services of the city of St. Louis. We understand that. But we also have a responsibility of investing in our department.
Saraceno says the $2.3 million in raises was not hasty, and it was included in their certified expenses from February. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The St. Louis Board of Aldermen expected to take up the proposed city water rate increase at this week's meeting. The proposed increase comes as the City Water Division says it's been running under a deficit for the past 7 years. Under the proposal, bills would go up gradually over the next 8 years. The first 2 years of increases are 18%, then 6% a year after that. The meeting takes place at City Hall. Will the Festus city attorney review the recall petition to determine if it's legally valid after being asked by the lawyer representing the mayor and council members facing the recall? He tells KMOX he will.
To determine whether the reasons stated are the reasons listed for recall in the state statute 77650, and I'll advise the council on that.
Of course, that's a group of residents who have challenged city council members over their vote over a data center, and that's why they've launched the recall petition. Malone says he'll make a legal determination ahead of the city council meeting next week, but will leave it up to council members. He advises whether they share it publicly due to attorney-client privilege. The organizers behind the recall petition said in a statement they've obtained enough signatures to recall Ward 1 Councilman David Boyer after coming up 36 shy last week. Stay with us at 8:41. We're going to break all of this down for you with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. The 22-year-old suspect in the fatal Troy house explosion denied release by a judge yesterday. That explosion happened in April. It left 3 dead, including a 19, 18, and 12-year-old. The suspect, Colton Sissel, charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter of a family member, among multiple other charges, after prosecutors alleged he was storing more than 1,000 pounds of explosives in the home. During a hearing yesterday, the judge ordered Sissel to be held in the Madison County Jail pending the rest of the trial. A propane tank explodes in Wentzville, damaging multiple homes. It happened yesterday evening on Brookfield Boulevard. That's according to our partners at Fox 2. The home that exploded has been ruled a total loss. 3 other homes were heavily damaged. 1 firefighter sustained minor injuries, and 3 pets were rescued from the blaze. WashU will host a major sports announcement from the St. Louis Sports Commission tomorrow, and we're taking a look at what events the region has been up for.
I'm Michael Calhoun. Officials are gathering at the historic 1904 Olympic finish line, raising the possibility that St. Louis may have landed the 2028 Olympic marathon trials. St. Louis is competing against Phoenix for that bid, and track and field publications have indicated that a decision was expected to come by this May. It has not been announced yet, so that is a real possibility. But a return of the Olympics gymnastics trials for next round is off the table, as that event earlier this spring was officially locked in for Louisville. St. Louis has hosted a lot of high-profile events, from the 2021 gymnastics trials to the 2026 Olympics figure skating trials, and coming up in August, the 2026 BMW Golf Championship.
The Science Center adding a 6th day to its operating schedule. Tuesdays, the only days the attraction will be closed starting this week. The CEO says he hopes adding the hours will help extend the mission of curiosity and engagement in science. The Science Center opens today at 9:30. A vacant Grand Center building on Page Boulevard could be demolished. The city of St. Louis seeking bids to demo the building once owned by Northside Regeneration starting mid-July. The Covenant Blue Grand Center Neighborhood Association sued, hoping to take control of the building or force the developer's company, Paul McKee, to make repairs to it. The Business Journal reporting the city hopes removing deteriorating properties in North St. Louis will give way to new development. The demolition will be paid for through ARPA funds. It's now 8:08, traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Aul and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the All Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 8:10. Let's see how things are moving on the roads this morning with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've still got roadwork delays, Megan, on eastbound 70, a backup approaching the Wright City rest area, and then it's slow most of the way into Wright City after that. But once you get past that point, you're good to go. Eastbound 64, Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 364 is busy, and then approaching 170 into Big Bend's heavy. South 170 delays from about the Parkway now down to 64. South 270, 364 to Olive is busy. Westbound 64, Hampton to Hanley, there's still heavy traffic there. Northbound 270, Big Bend up to Ladue is the busiest part. Eastbound 44 is still a little slow into 109. That right lane was closed for road work there. Downtown, eastbound 44 is slow from 55 up to the Poplar. Westbound 64 west of the 70 split to the Poplar is backed up. And then there's road work delays both directions on 5570 between 203 and 111. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunshine mixing with clouds today and pleasant with low humidity, high 83. Tonight will be clear, low 64. More sun than clouds tomorrow, warm and a little more humid in the afternoon, high 86. On Friday, very warm and rather humid with clouds and sun. Also a thunderstorm likely in the afternoon, the high Friday, 87. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Currently, we do have sunny skies this morning, 67 degrees in Florissant. It's 66 in St. Peters, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. You're listening to Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. 1 in 3 caregivers are part of the so-called sandwich generation. They're caring for both children and adult relatives, and that has an impact on their livelihood and on the workplace. There's a new multi-state effort to create some new supports and solutions. Joining me this morning on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line is Wendy Doyle, President and CEO of United We, a nonprofit that works to elevate women. Wendy, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Megan. It's great to be with you.
I was looking at some of the figures that you passed along. According to the AARP, which is partnering with you on this project, 63 million Americans are caregivers. And I'm curious what the percentage is who are men and what percentage are women.
Well, it's hard to diagnose exactly the pinpoint between women and men, but what we do know is that there is what is being termed now as the daughterhood penalty, which means most adult daughters are frequently leaving the workforce or reducing their hours or even passing up promotions to care for aging parents or family members. So we do know that the caregiving disproportionately impacts women, but to put an exact number on it is a little difficult.
When you think about 63 million Americans, Wendy, that's a pretty incredible number. And you have to think there's probably a significant proportion who are still in the workforce.
Absolutely. And we know that a majority are still in the workforce. And when you break it down to Missouri, that means thousands of workers are really juggling full-time jobs while also caring for loved ones. And we know that, by passing up promotions or needing to drop out of the workforce, that has an economic impact on families, not only in the short term, but also the long term when you're thinking about retirement for yourself.
What trends are you expecting in coming decades, especially as we look at the cost of long-term care and the availability of quality long-term care for adults?
Yes, the cost is extremely expensive, and we know that a lot of families are in positions that they aren't able to afford, additional care, which means that falls upon family members. Where United we are definitely concerned about, the impact to women just generally. We know women have lived 6 to 7 years longer than men do, so their lifespan is longer. While they may be dropping out of the workforce to care either for children or for family members, this means lack of contributing to retirement funds and to Social Security. So that will impact them personally in the long term. Lots of economic impacts across several different layers of this challenge, but we're concerned about the impact long term, especially.
What happens in the business setting when someone is pulled away or pulled in multiple directions by caregiving responsibilities?
Yes, this is a great point and why we are teaming up with AARP. We really want to provide some additional education and resources to employers because we know this has an impact on recruitment, on retention, and then profitability within businesses. So we are teaming up with AARP to be able to bring, resources. AARP has, a lot of expertise, obviously, in this forefront of bringing forward, policies that work, but resources that can be accessible and complementary to employers. But it does ultimately have an impact on bottom line.
You're launching the Caregiving at Work series. It's going to be taking place in Missouri and 3 other states with the support of the AARP. Tell us a little bit about how this initiative will be structured.
Yeah, it is free. It's complimentary. We're targeting both individuals and employers to join us for this education opportunity, and it will be virtual. So we meet you where you are in the workplace, and it's complimentary, free, and you can sign up by accessing United We's website, which is united-we.org. There's a banner on the homepage that you can click on, and then you can get registered to join us.
We're listening to Wendy Doyle, President and CEO of United We. What are some of the ways, Wendy, that you see that states and organizations are already trying to address this issue of caregivers in the workplace?
It's interesting. In the state of Oklahoma, they have actually a caregiving tax credit for an individual as a state, for state income tax reduction. And so you're starting to see this bubble up. There has been some discussions about this federally as well. So this would be to care for aging family members being able to, get a stipend, a little bit of offset of the cost of a state income tax. So we're starting to see this really be a discussion point in states. We see that as an opportunity, but we're thrilled that people are starting to talk more about this because this is such an economic impact on families.
When you look at the business community overall, how responsive do you feel businesses are to the needs of their employees who happen to be caregivers?
Yes, we feel that this is, a great discussion point and responsive to and open to learning more about what resources that they can bring to their employees. Again, retention is a key point that a lot of companies are looking at. The cost to actually go back out and backfill a position is extremely expensive, let alone the intellectual capital that may walk out the door. So a lot of families are paying attention to this, but also leadership within companies are personally addressing this themselves. So it is a point that, impacts employees, but also leadership in organizations as well. So it's a timely issue in a conversation piece, but such an opportunity for us to build something that could be really productive and structured well for states in the future.
So after, this series, what's the plan for how this initiative will be used or what you're hoping for months down the road?
Yeah, we see this as a great opportunity to not only provide some education and immediately bring some resources, but an opportunity for United We to further gather some qualitative data that we can use as we continue to build out what could be policy priorities for us as an organization. We have definitely spent time going out around the state of Missouri. We have plans to continue to do that in a town hall setting to really make sure we're on point with where we should be spending our time from an economic development and a labor force participation of women generally. And we hear this time and time again, which is why this is elevated to us starting to lean into this a little bit more. But what we hope to, as an organization, continue to prioritize this, but hear firsthand from Missourians that this, what they're dealing with, but also hear from employers too. This is a great opportunity for not only information sharing, but, listening as well.
Wendy, again, how can people find out more?
They can access United We's website, united-we.org. There is a registration form and an explanation of what we plan to do in a virtual webinar setting. And again, this is complimentary for employers and just individuals in general to join us and learn more.
That is Wendy Doyle, President and CEO of United We. Wendy, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Megan. Great to be with you.
Still ahead on Total Information AM, we're going to talk about the rise of surprise bags at the grocery store. You could save a lot. You might not know what's in that bag, but it might be worth it. Jim Ryan from ABC is going to join us coming up. Also, we are going to look at some of the big legal issues in the news this week with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young at 8:41, including that recall petition that's underway in Festus over data centers. It's 8:20. Let's get the latest on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got a little bit of a backup coming in from Warrenton on eastbound 70, Megan. This traffic reports the service of I-3 broadband approaching the Wright City rest area, most of the way in the Wright City, pretty heavy through there. After that, you're good to go. Eastbound 64, Lake St. Louis Boulevard to 364, still heavy, and then McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64, about Clayton Skinker out to Hanley's heavy. South 170 bumper to bumper at the Parkway. Northbound 270 Big Bend up to Ladue is busy. Eastbound 44 just a little slow at 109. Doesn't look that bad. 55 you're good to go. And downtown westbound 64 still heavy from the 70 split to the Poplar. And eastbound 5570 still has delays. 203 most of the way into 111. Spring is here. Time to toss out that dusty treadmill and your laggy cable internet. Upgrade to 100% in-home fiber from i3 Broadband. Plus, we're springing forward with our longest price guarantees ever on our gig speed internet services. No data caps, just pure speed. Visit i3broadband.com/radio and start your spring off right. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Checking that forecast for today, it's going to be a mix of sun and clouds. Pleasant, low humidity, high 83 degrees. Clear tonight with a low of 64. And then sunshine with some clouds tomorrow, warm and a little bit more humid, a high of 86. Sunny skies now 63 downtown at the Arch.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney.
This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-909-9696. 800-909-9696.
Insurance policy. For some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. If your family is like mine, you're probably trying to find ways right now to save money on your grocery bills. Would you be willing to buy surprise bags of leftover food from a grocery store, deli, or bakery? Let's find out more about this morning from ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. Yeah, and millions of people are trying to do that. They're trying to save a little bit of money as inflation eats into budgets, sky-high food prices. We heard yesterday, Megan, about tomato prices that have gone through the roof. Well, there are a couple of apps that can help you do that. One's called Flash Food. The other one is Too Good To Go. And they both operate in the St. Louis area. And it's pretty simple the way it works. You download the app and then you go virtual shopping at any of the stores that are participating. You ask to purchase a surprise bag. You pay whatever the price is. And generally it's a half or about a third of the cost of the original bag. I've got a good example here for you in St. Louis. Save-A-Lot, the Save-A-Lot store on South Jefferson. You can buy a grocery bag today for $6.99. The site says that it's $21 originally, and it's full of groceries. And they're very blunt and open, transparent about this. The surprise bag could contain grocery items that are at their best buy or sell by dates, or maybe even a little past that. So at least, Save-A-Lot and the others urge people to take a whiff, take a smell before you walk home with this stuff. Just make sure that it is still edible. In many cases, the due date or the buy date, purchase by date, is just a recommendation for manufacturers, Megan.
How much of this could we get, for example, bakery or leftover deli items? How much do you see that from these apps?
Well, a lot, and bakeries are a big part of this, probably because their inventory has such a short shelf life. And this is very much like, I don't know if you still have them there, but the old bread store. So the big bakery in town at the end of the day would ship whatever's left over to the old bakery outlet, and you could buy it that way. This is sort of like that. And there are some benefits, not just to consumers who are saving a lot of money, but to the retailers and restaurants and grocery stores and that are, and even convenience stores that are participating in this. So let's say, you own a restaurant there in St. Louis, one of the restaurants taking part in this whole thing, and you have inventory at the end of the day. You don't want to have to throw it out. There is a way that you can sell it. You're not selling it at a loss necessarily, but you're selling it at a much smaller rate than you would have otherwise. It's better than zero. What's more, Megan, you might get customers into the store who wouldn't have come otherwise. So they look around, they kind of see what you're about while they're picking up their surprise bag, and they may come back. So, there are sort of these ancillary benefits.
Do you have any choice as far as maybe categories of what you get? Can you specify that you want produce or canned goods or things like that?
Yes. Yeah. You really can't get much more specific than that. But yes, categories: meat, or cheese or frozen goods. I got a funny story. A friend of mine uses one of these apps, and through Central Market, he was able to purchase his first surprise bag. He didn't specify anything really. He just got the bag home, and it's full of pasta and bread. He's on keto. He can't eat those things. He doesn't want to eat those things.
Oops.
So he ordered again and got more specific, asked for, meat, dairy products, that sort of thing that keto encourages. And he got a bag of gourmet cheeses at a deep discount from what they would have been otherwise. So yeah, you can choose from categories, and it's probably important to do that.
Jim, what are these apps again?
The two apps, the main apps that are operating right now, there's one called Flash Food, all one word, and then you've got Too Good To Go, all one word as well.
Jim, thanks so much for bringing this to our attention. I'm going to try it out.
Give it a try. Thanks, Megan.
All right, thank you. That is ABC News correspondent Jim Ryan joining us this morning here on KMOX. It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Beat the heat in true Cardinals style on Friday, June 5th, when the Cardinals host the Cincinnati Reds at Busch Stadium. That night, fans will claim a reversible Cardinals bucket hat, presented by Quick Trip. Clean and classic on one side, full ballpark fun on the other. It's made for sunny innings, backyard barbecues, and poolside weekends. All summer long, don't miss out. Get tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
This is Andre Palante. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
8:30, let's see what problems are on the roads this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, we still got a little backup out west on 70, Megan. This traffic reports a service of United Way of Greater St. Louis, helpingpeople.org. It's backed up right through the Wright City rest area. Opens up before you get into Wright City, and after that, you're good to go. Eastbound 64, still a little busy. Lake St. Louis 364 area. It's a little slow east of Clarkson. McKnight in through Hanley's heavy. 170 south of the Parkway is busy on both ways on 170 down to 64. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker out to Hanley, still heavy. North 270. North of Big Bend up to Ladue, that's still bogged down. 55 northbound, looks like you have a good run going. On the Illinois side, you've got slow traffic westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplar, and eastbound 64, a brief backup at 203, then it's slow past 111 in that construction area, but the westbound side's looking okay through there right now. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When our neighbors need support, United Way brings people together, helping families, helping children, helping people through everyday challenges, and building hope for tomorrow. Unite with us at helpingpeople.org.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy today, pleasant, low humidity, a high of 83, clear tonight with an overnight low of 64. We do have sunshine now, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. Former Republican Congressman George Santos facing a new federal investigation 7 months after President Trump commuted his sentence. The probe focused on suspicious bets placed with a popular prediction market platform. Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
Santos first gained infamy in 2022 when the lies he told during his campaign were exposed. He claimed to have graduated in the top of his class, that his mother worked at the World Trade Center on 9/11, and that his grandparents escaped the Holocaust. None of it was true. He was expelled from Congress and later pleaded guilty to identity theft and wire fraud, earning him a 7-year prison sentence. Back in February, Santos released this video.
I'm going to be there for the State of the Union in the gallery, guys.
At the time, Kalshi was taking bets on who would attend President Trump's State of the Union speech. Sources say Santos placed wagers tied to his own attendance, but during the address, he posted, "Watching State of the Union from an airport TV was not part of the plan." By skipping the speech, sources say he pocketed tens of thousands of dollars.
Acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche says the Trump administration is not moving forward with President Trump's so-called weaponization fund. That's the $1.8 billion Department of Justice fund that would use taxpayer dollars to compensate people who say they've been targeted by the federal government. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien with more.
The question is this fund still in play? The acting Attorney General Blanche said they're not moving forward with it, but he didn't really specify if that change is going to go down on paper, if they're going to amend this settlement to actually reflect that there will be no fund, or if you just take the word of Blanche and President Trump here. And it's very much unclear how that's going to go over with Senate Republicans.
We're going to look at the legal angles with Attorney Brad Young in 10 minutes here on Total Information AM. It's 8:33. Your Money Report is next.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Your Money Report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Tariffs are down, but they're not out. President Trump is proposing a new tariff of at least 10% on imports from 60 trading partners after his earlier tariffs were killed off by the Supreme Court. The move follows an investigation into how trade partners handle goods allegedly produced by forced labor. Checking on the markets, tech shares drove stocks to another record yesterday. The S&P 500 has topped 7,600 after seeing gains for 9 straight days. This morning, Wall Street is in a cautious mood as it focuses on flare-ups in the Middle East. Stock futures are looking at a lower open later this morning. And Garth Brooks has friends in low places, but he's now looking for ones with money. The country superstar is considering a sale of his music catalog. According to the Wall Street Journal, Brooks is said to be looking for roughly $2 billion for the rights to his songs. It would be among the largest deals for an individual artist or group. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, let's talk about refinancings, and let's just bottom line this. Everyone needs money at some point in their life.
You know what, Dave? There's so many different ways you can make money. Number one, go to a lower rate. If you're financed over the last 3 years, chances are you're paying a higher rate than what you can today. Refinance with the bagel loan, no closing costs at all. That's number one. Number two, a lot of people are concerned not about the cash flow, but overall interest that you're paying. Go from a 30-year to a 20-year. The rates are lower on a 20-year versus a 30-year. Save hundreds of thousands of dollars. And third is the really easy way. You need cash. I need cash. Take cash out. Refinance now. Take the money you need. Keep the payment the same. It's easy. It's simple. All with no closing costs with that bagel loan.
If you're looking to save money, get a little cash to your pocket and do it with the right person, give Stewie a call or a text on his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
Giddy up. It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Is your garage door past its prime? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra for an unforgettable evening of music with the legendary, incomparable Bernadette Peters, legendary Tony Award-winning star of stage and screen. With her signature charisma and unmatched artistry, this one-night-only performance with your SLSO offers an intimate concert experience with one of musical theater's most luminous voices and a must-see event for Broadway and symphony fans alike. Don't miss an evening with Bernadette Peters, Friday, June 12th at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
Zero Res wants to help clean your home. Big summer savings with 3 rooms clean starting at just $129 and take an additional $100 off your air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResSTL.com and ask for the DGS special.
You're listening to 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch, and here's what's happening. Carnival Corporation, parent to the largest cruise line in the world, says criminals tricked an employee into giving up access to the company's IT system that exposed the names, addresses, phone numbers, and other personal data on as many as 6 million customers. President Donald Trump has signed a new executive order on oversight of artificial intelligence, and a new Gallup poll finds support for same-sex marriage and relationships in the U.S. has stopped rising after 2 decades. About 2/3 of U.S. adults believe same-sex marriage should be legal, according to the poll. That's down slightly from 71% in 2022 and 2023. 8:40, time for another check of the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got a few slowdowns out there, Megan. This traffic reports the Service of Financial and Tax Strategies. Eastbound 70 is one of them, right through the Wright City rest area. Before you get into Wright City, it's bogged down in that work zone. If you get past that point, you're good to go. Eastbound 64, still a little heavier on Lake St. Louis Boulevard. There's a slowdown at 141 and McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64, McCausland to Hanley's heavy. South 170 delays at Brentwood. North 270, north of Doherty Ferry, most of the way up to Ladue. Still pretty crowded along that route. Looks like there was an incident. They cleared to the shoulder. Westbound 270 west of New Florissant, just a little slow there. And on the Illinois side, you have roadwork delays eastbound 5570, 203 through 111. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
It's going to be a nice day today. Sunny to partly cloudy, a low humidity, a high of 83. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 64. Well, it'll be a little more humid tomorrow. We could see some thunderstorms in the afternoon. Otherwise, sunshine, a high of 86. Right now, sunny skies, 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Megan Lynch, and this is Total Information AM here on KMOX. We have a lot to talk about today with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. He's partner at Harris, Young, and Kaiser. We talk to him every Wednesday morning here on KMOX, and I think we're going to keep you for a couple of segments, Brad, because there's just so much going on that we want to talk to you about. Sound good?
That sounds great. You'll get my bill.
Okay. Yeah, right. All right. So the Trump administration, first off, says that it is dropping that $1.8 billion government weaponization fund for people who say they were targeted by the government. But a lot of people are asking, is this legal battle really over? How does this impact the other part of the agreement to drop all the pending audits and financial claims related to Mr. Trump and his family members' taxes?
Well, a lot of this we don't know right as of today because that has not been publicly reported yet, Megan. But I can break down for you what I think is going to happen. Let's deal with each issue individually. First of all, regarding the actual fund, it was $1.776 billion that was proposed, this anti-weaponization fund. And the reason this fell apart is because of a constitutional issue. Under our Constitution, Congress has to appropriate money. It cannot just be generated in of itself by the executive branch. And this was going to do just that. It was going to create this fund to pay out individuals on a basis that we really weren't sure of. We weren't really positive as to what the criteria would be or how the damages would be determined. So once this started getting publicity, then members of the Senate, basically in the Republican Party, told President Trump that Congress could block this and would block this because of its constitutional issues related to a lack of legislative authority to allocate that money. Congress has the power of the purse, and this would have violated that bedrock constitutional principle.
Now, as you know, that there were 35 former federal judges that filed a motion with the court that had approved this settlement and dismissed the case, causing it to be reopened. They allege collusion because it was the president of the United States and his own Justice Department that came to the settlement. Do you think there will be any other investigation or court proceeding when we look just at that collusion allegation?
I don't see that going anywhere, Megan, and let me tell you why. If you look at the statement that the judge made when this settlement was, I want to use the word approved, it wasn't really approved because the judge said the only thing in front of the judge that required approval was the motion to dismiss by President Trump. There was no anti-weaponization fund that was presented to the judge as a settlement package. So once the president filed his motion to dismiss, the case was essentially over. So even though the judges, those 35 judges had some constitutional issues with this fund, the fund really wasn't in front of the judge to make a decision on. So I don't really see that going anywhere. So at least as it stands right now, the two parts of the settlement, the dismissal has already been entered. So I think that's going to be finalized in that this litigation will be over. When it comes to the weaponization fund, I see that now as being over because of the objections raised by the Senate Majority Leader and others in the U.S. Senate.
Now, I was reading an article in Politico today, and it brought up something very interesting. And I don't think we know this yet, but obviously the Justice Department would have the authority to order payments to settle lawsuits. So could they still have some sort of weaponization fund without it being called that?
That was the basis for the original concept of this fund, Megan, was that the DOJ has inherent authority to settle litigation. However, in this instance, the members of the pool of people who were being considered to be beneficiaries under the anti-weaponization fund, they weren't parties to this lawsuit. I think that's where the problem comes in, because that has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with the Trump's issue with the IRS. So if you're going to be making payments to people who are not parties to the litigation, The idea is that could go beyond the authority of the Department of Justice to settle lawsuits with the parties who are involved with those very lawsuits.
Could Mr. Trump refile his lawsuit against the IRS?
Well, I haven't seen whether it's a dismissal with or without prejudice. That's important in court hearings because with prejudice means you are forever barred from bringing this again. Without prejudice means you could possibly refile it. Since I have not seen anything publicly reported about whether this dismissal was with or without prejudice, at this point, we just don't know.
Okay. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to look at a couple of issues that are closer to home. A case in Missouri looking at when voters will see ballot issues, and then the situation in Festus with the potential recall of some public officials over data center vote. So that is coming up next. Stay with us here on Total Information AM.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman. Another great day to crack open an ice-cold Budweiser. Budweiser, the king of beers, and has been for the last 150 years. Think about 1876 when they started Budweiser here in St. Louis. What a tradition that would become. That ice-cold, delicious lager, crisp and refreshing, and certainly has been a mainstay in American culture for years. America turns 250 this summer, and Budweiser is 150 years old. And that's why they're combining for all kinds of great stuff, patriotic merchandise, patriotic Budweiser cans. Plus, baseball is 150 years old, and Budweiser is the official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. Both of them celebrating 150 together this summer. Budweiser. Crack open an ice-cold Bud for the last 150 years. This Bud's for you. Visit Budweiser.com for everything Budweiser and America.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com. Join KMOX and Community American Credit Union for a free evening of fun as they celebrate the grand opening their new De Beers branch June 4th from 5 till 7 p.m. It'll be a great time. You could win swag from the big ATM, the Amazing Things machine. Meet Cardinals alumni, get a photo with Fred Bird, plus free food, entertainment, and more. And a chance to come on out and say hi to Chris Ronchi from the Chris and Amy Show. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
And we're back now with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young here on Total Information AM. We've held you over because there's so much going on in the news this week, Brad. I want to get to the issue with one of the amendments, the constitutional amendments that's going to come before voters this fall. There's been some dispute on this issue of Missouri's income tax being replaced with sales taxes. It's coming before the voters. Some groups wanted it moved off the August 4th ballot. That's where the governor wanted it placed. Of course, August 4th is a primary, typically not as many voters. Opponents say they want this on the November ballot where it will be before more voters. How did a judge rule and why?
Well, the issue, Megan, let's talk about the issue and then we'll get to the ruling. The issue is that in Missouri, when you're talking about any sort of ballot initiative, there is a constitutional requirement that it be a single subject matter that's before the voters. You can't have a ballot initiative that deals with 27 different issues. It has to be a single issue. So the challenge that was brought to this amendment that would phase out Missouri's individual income tax and replace that revenue through expanded or even higher sales taxes, that issue was challenged because in the actual initiative, it talks about things like personal taxes, property taxes, sales taxes. So the challenge was this failed to meet that single issue rule. The judge in Cole County accepted the state's position that said all of those individual taxation issues were all under the broader single subject issue of eliminating Missouri's income tax. And that's the way the judge ruled. And so now this is going to go up on an expedited matter up to the Court of Appeals to make a decision.
And I guess part of it, too, is the issue of the ballot language. There was some dispute over that as well. Why does that become an issue in these elections?
it becomes an issue, and it's always an issue every time. We deal with this a lot, practically in every election, Megan, as you well know. But the issue is this. There is a requirement that the summary, because we are voting on these, we don't have the entire provision before us because these things can go dozens or hundreds of pages in length. So the question is always, does the summary accurately reflect what the meat or the heart of the actual ballot initiative is? In other words, there's a rule that you can't have this be misleading. And so that's always a challenge. In this instance, the judge in Cole County ruled that it was not misleading, that it was a fair summary of the initiative, and the judge ruled it can be on the August ballot. Now it's going to be up to the Court of Appeals to decide, but looking at how the judge ruled and what the judge ruled here in Cole County, I think that it places the state in a very strong position to defend this initiative going forward on the August ballot.
All right, let's move to Festus. A group of Festus residents called Wake Up Jeffco. They have been working for weeks to gather signatures to trigger a recall for 2 council members and the mayor. It's all backlash to that community's data center approval, or the council's approval of that. Now, the attorney for those officials is saying the recalls don't meet requirements. One of the allegations is that the petitions were ambiguous. So people signing it didn't know what they were signing. That the county clerk didn't conduct the proper signature verification process, and some other things. When you look at a situation like this, a recall, which is very unusual, what are you looking at legally to move forward with something like this?
Well, there's 2 issues under Missouri law that are going to be at the heart of this issue. Number one is does the recall state a specific ground, or did it fail to state a specific ground to nullify the recall? And under state law, there has to be a specific factual grounds laid out. Now, the other part of this equation is, were signers misinformed? And this is where it gets very squishy, and that's a Latin term, of course. But the question becomes, were signers misinformed? And how that's determined is there would have to be enough people, say, for example, signing affidavits to say that we were misinformed and we did not intend to vote for this, in order to bring that total number of signatories down below the threshold required to get this on the ballot. Now, I haven't seen any evidence of that. So simply making allegations that voters were misinformed does not meet the factual standard required to get this recall vote nullified.
How detailed would that have to be in a recall petition? You know, the grounds that you're seeking dismissal over.
Yeah, it would have to be very specific. And in other words, it would have to be that there were X number of signatures gathered out of that total of 20%, 30%, whatever the number might be, of voters were misinformed, and here are affidavits from all of these voters that specifically state they were misinformed, and because of that, now that the threshold isn't met, it would have to be actual numbers and actual affidavits in order for this to move forward.
I think another interesting part of this is the fact that, as it's been described to me, the council will decide the matter of this recall, even though some of them are the ones being targeted by the recall. You know, what leverage does the city attorney have in this to delay this or stop any decision on this until these decisions are made?
Under Missouri law, Megan, the city attorney has no leverage. It is completely up to the city council and the mayor, and all the city attorney can do is to advise and cannot actually make any rulings or take any action. And very briefly, the bigger issue here that no one's talking about is if the city council has already signed contracts for this $6 billion data center project, then a subsequent city council that's after recall votes, if they're even positive, that contract cannot be nullified without potential damages by the parties that were contracted to build this data center. So the legal issues here, frankly, are only just beginning.
All right, Brad, we are out of time, and I thank you for your extra time. You can send the bill to Steve Moore.
I'll do it.
Right. That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young joining us this morning here on Total Information AM.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored